So yeah, man, that's the story about, the time when my best friend pissed on my head. It wasn't my finest moment, but I mean, I guess everybody needs to be pissed on at least once, right? Oh shit, we're live right now. Oh crap.
Oh damn. All right, well, throw that golden shower stuff away. Whoops.
You know what's funny though? That's actually a true story. It actually happened.
Oh no.
It's kind of a funny story, man. Maybe I'll tell it later in the podcast. But yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. All right, welcome to the RetroWolf Podcast, coming at you live for the second time. Today's guest is somebody that I met at Siege, Southeast Game Exchange 2021, in a very interesting way, which I'm going to have him tell that story a little bit later from his own point of view. And that guest is Andy, AKA PacManCase. How you doing tonight, brother?
Good, dude. Thanks so much for having me on the show. I've been stoked to be able to shoot the shit with you for a while, so this will be a blast.
Yeah, man. I've really been looking forward to it, dude. We had a great time hanging out together at Southeast Game Exchange, and we hung out on the convention floor. We hung out in hotel rooms with everybody else and drank some beer together and ate together. It was a great time, man.
Yeah, it was epic, man. I want to do it again. It's
too
long.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And Andy, so if you could, man, tell my audience, in case they're not familiar with you, tell my audience about your YouTube channel, where they can find it, and also about your podcast and where they can find that as well.
Yeah, no doubt, guys. You can hit me up at PacManCase on all social media platforms, including YouTube. I am a retro gamer at heart, filmmaker from the start. I've been doing it for a long time, kind of transitioned it into the YouTube side of things. So if you jump on my YouTube, you'll notice I try to do some fun camera work, try to make games sexy again on the YouTube channel. On the Real Awkward podcast side of things, that's REEL, Real Awkward Podcast. We do a podcast where we basically talk about all types of nerdy shit that you can think of. And we've even expanded it into just like crazy, kooky, oddity things too. We just finished up a Ripley's Believe It or Not episode where we're just talking about like the craziest things you can think of. I think his name was Robert Ripley. Went out into the world and found some of the craziest people you can think of. But just going through that stuff has been a blast. So it's me, my wife, and my friend, and we actually all worked at Blockbuster at the same time. And so as a team, we discuss anything and everything movie, game related, and music related. So come check it all out. And I'm almost at 3K on YouTube. I need your guys' help. I need 60 more subs and we're there. So
that's it, huh? Just 60. Rad. Oh, man. Yeah. So everybody watching, let me tell you about Andy's channel from my perspective and kind of give you my spin on it. This dude has a killer YouTube channel. His production values are through the roof. You can definitely tell that he has a background in videography and filmography and filmmaking and all that good stuff whenever you watch his content. The lighting's great. Just everything about it's great. The editing's great. The content is great. Andy is fucking hilarious. He has an awesome personality. Dude, his videos will make you laugh your ass off. And it's all about gaming and different things like that. So definitely check out PacManCase on YouTube. There should be a link to his YouTube channel in the description down below. So take a quick moment, open it up in a new tab. And, if you like what you see, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and help him out to his goal of 3,000 subscribers. You're so close, man. So close.
Oh, 3K, I can taste it.
I can taste it. What's it taste like? What does 3K taste like, Andy?
A little bit like wet cardboard, I think I'm almost there.
Well, I mean, there's worse things it could taste like, so I'll take wet cardboard.
I know. Well, what at 100,000 you get a play button that's plastic, so you should get a cardboard one at 3K,
dude.
Right? You should,
yeah,
right?
For real,
we should
man.
Make our own, yeah.
Yeah, or at the or hell, I'll even take a paper mache one. You know what I mean?
Hey, there you go. That even is more work.
Yeah. Origami. I'll take an origami one. I don't give a damn.
Yes, somebody make us one right now.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Scott is in the chat from Retro Rivals. Retro Rivals is in the chat. So, Jen, how about you make Sir Andy some kind of 3,000 subscriber piece of art? Because she is an amazing artist. Seriously, she really is.
Oh, dude, Jen's stuff is beyond insane. And what's funny, she downplays it, but she's like, she's legit. Like, she could just quit doing her job right now and just do art pieces for people. But there is a problem when you turn your passion into making money. If you start to not love it, then you kind of go down a rabbit hole. So I feel that feeling.
That is a very good point, my friend. Very good point indeed. And also, I want to mention his podcast, Real Awkward. I actually started listening to it on my way home from Southeast Game Exchange because when me and Andy were hanging out on the floor, he told me about his podcast, and I was like, yeah, man, I'll check that out. And I listened to like 4 episodes on my way home to Tennessee from South Carolina. And since then, I've just been going through the backlog. It's a great podcast, especially if you love films, movies. If you love all that good stuff, you're going to learn a lot about different actors and directors. You're going to learn a lot about different movies that maybe you've never heard of. And they talk about a lot of other interesting topics as well. Like I really liked the pet peeves episode that you guys did. That was a good one.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. We actually, this is a secret. We shot that one twice. Recorded that one twice because we did a pet peeves episode and it ended up just being my wife bitching about me, and we were like, no. I mean, as much as that's fun, I don't know if that's all we want the podcast to be. So then we kind of narrowed it back down. But if I can ever post that one, I will, because it's kind of funny. Dude,
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I mean, you know, that's how marriage works. You know, that's just how it goes. In most
happy
cases,
wife, happy life.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to that for real, man. But seriously, it's an awesome podcast, and I can't remember if I left a link to the podcast in the description. But if I didn't, I will definitely fix that after we're done. So yeah, but everybody, you can find it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, but on just about any other podcasting or any podcasting platform, pretty much.
Yeah, and we have it on everything. We have it on Apple. We have it on Spotify. You can download it on Deezer and random ones. So yeah, it's everywhere. I'm pretty sure. So my counterparts, they run the social media side of things. They've put us on everything you possibly think of. So
sweet. Yeah. And I popped that podcast name up on the screen there for people to see for a moment. And by the way, everybody that joined the show, thank you so much for joining the live podcast. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Really appreciate having you here. Appreciate you interacting in the chat. And if anybody ever has any questions for Andy, throw that in the chat. And throughout the course of the podcast, I will pop some of those questions up on the screen. I can't promise that I'll get to everybody's question, but I'll definitely get to some of them. So, Andy, first thing I want to ask you, man, and this is something that I'm going to do at the beginning of the podcast because I'm always interested to hear this. What video games have you been playing lately, if any? Let's hear it.
Okay, so I got an Oculus Quest more recently.
Yeah.
Cheers to that. Personally, dude, I mean, this might just be me, but like you pull a cord out and it just feels like a different experience altogether.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm a big dude, but you should watch me go to town on Beat Saber, dude. Like I literally, I'm having a freaking blast in here. And what's funny with VR, you think you're cooler than you are. Like if someone records you doing your moves, like you feel like you're just slamming it, like you're a crazy ass drummer. But when they record you, you're just like, doing a little
well, unless you play it on Expert Plus.
If you go crazy, then you sweat a lot.
Oh God, dude, it's a workout. If you play it on the harder difficulties, it's a fucking workout, man.
Yeah, it does. Retro Gaming Pandemic is saying that it requires Facebook. But that part sucks. You do have to have Facebook to use it.
Yeah.
And they haven't been too bad. There's a Darth Vader game that you can play. There's a cool
that one's
one
awesome.
Where you so with the Oculus, and I think this is the same on some of the other VRs, but it actually has hand tracking, really intricate hand tracking. And there's a game where you can like dip your hands into various things, and when it comes back out, it's like robot hands or alien hands or whatever. And it's just a really cool. It's a really cool like set piece for you to understand the technology that it's getting there. I mean, that's absolutely insane. Like we're almost at the Tony Stark level of moving stuff around. It's just it's epic. It's epic. So yeah, I've enjoyed that for a little bit, and I just ordered. I lucked out, but I got the analog SG and the analog Super NT. They just popped back out. They actually are supposed to be here this week, so now I'm excited to get into either of those bad boys, which cost an arm and a freaking leg. But
yeah, it's a quality piece of technology though. They're definitely it's a premium, but from what I understand, those are probably some of the best clone consoles on the market. Actually, I think it plays like original hardware, I believe, right? It's not emulation. And it's HD too, so
yeah, it's supposed to be epic, and I'm excited. I've never owned any of the analog stuff before, and when
Me
these
either.
popped back up, I was like, all right. I mean, it might be time for me to get it. Yeah, that's where I've been at right now on games, and I've been collecting for Sega Saturn lately. So
that's money.
Yeah.
That's rough, man. Oh, real quick, let me let the audience know. Yeah. Andy is on a hotspot Wi-Fi, so there's a chance that he might cut out. If he does, he will pop back in as quickly as he possibly can. So just let everybody know that in case it happens. But fingers crossed that it doesn't happen. So yeah, you've been playing anything else, man, besides the Oculus?
What did I throw in the other day? So I picked up Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the Gold Edition. Right?
Oh yeah.
So if you know about the Gold Edition, you can't get it anymore on the arcade, right? And you can't download it unless I think you gotta go find the Platinum one. But it has every single character, and it was kind of the start of that cool top-down set piece with the characters. You know, X-Men Legends came out, and then the Marvel Ultimate Alliance came out. But I threw that one back in, and then I found myself 4 hours later, like still throwing down. And with the gold one, you have every single character unlocked. So
nice.
You know, I had to go be the big guys. I think I was like Venom, Sabretooth, Juggernaut, and somebody else, and the Thing or something like that. But yeah, man. But that's what I've been throwing down on. Just anytime I pull something from the game room and I throw it in, I actually feel good that I didn't waste it because stuff sits here sometimes for too long. Yeah,
that's true, man. I totally get that. Before I tell you what I've been playing, I got to make a comment on the Oculus Quest. So, dude, my first foray into VR was the PlayStation VR, and the PlayStation VR is cool. You know, it works well enough. It has some issues, mainly centered around the PlayStation Move controllers, and the tracking is just not very good on the headset and the controllers because it uses the camera that you set down. So it's got some problems, but it worked well enough, and it was a fun VR experience. But dude, when I went from PlayStation VR to the Oculus Quest, it was just 100 times better. There's no comparison, dude. No comparison.
I agree. Other than, if you didn't know, you can't play it outside.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, and I did. I was like, I went out to my deck. I was like, I need some more space here. And then all of a sudden, it's too bright. The sensors freak out, and you can't get in it. So you just have to play it inside. Yeah. But I agree with you. I love the PSVR. Yeah. But the moment I put the Quest on, I was like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. This is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it feels like it's a more powerful device than the PlayStation VR. It also, it's wireless. You can't beat that. And the controllers are 10 times better. They track the controllers 10 times better. And it's just a better experience. It feels smoother. Because I played Beat Saber on both the PlayStation VR and the Oculus Quest. Dude, I couldn't play it on the PlayStation VR. I was getting my ass kicked on the PlayStation VR.
Because it was like slow, like lag? Or
lag, and also the tracking of the controllers. Because I was trying to play it on like Expert, and because there's one song in Beat Saber that I can beat on Expert Plus. I did the practice mode where you start at 50%. I worked my way up. So there's one song I can beat at full speed on Expert Plus, and when I tried to do it on the PlayStation VR, I couldn't get anywhere.
No go. That sucks.
Yeah,
that totally sucks.
Yeah, but Retro Rivals, you should definitely get an Oculus Quest. It's going to really change the way that you think about VR. It's just a much better experience. So you should definitely
100%.
Yeah, you should definitely get on that. And Retro Rivals has a quick question. What camera are you using? It's Crisp. So I've actually got my Sony A7 III hooked up through a Camlink 4K, I believe. Yeah, an Elgato Camlink 4K. So I'm using my main YouTube camera as a webcam. So that's probably why it looks so crisp. So, all right, man. So, so what have I been playing lately? I've been playing, dude, I've got this problem, and I'm sure you've been there, man. Yeah. I'm always playing like 5 games at once, dude. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's not good. It's not a good habit, but so I'm playing Dragon Quest Builders on the Switch. I'm almost done. I'm on the last chapter of the game. I'm playing through Zelda Breath of the Wild again, so I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between those two games on the Switch.
Yeah.
Also on the Xbox Series X through Game Pass, I'm playing Yakuza Like a Dragon, which decided to take a break from that. I'm like 30 or 40 hours in, taking a break, because that's one of those games where it's really easy to take a break and pick back up, because the controls, you don't have to really it's a turn-based RPG, so it's really easy to pick it back up. So I'm taking a break from that. I started playing Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic because I've heard that game is a masterpiece, and I've never played it.
You never played it?
Never played it, dude.
Oh, snap, man. You're in for a treat.
Oh, dude, I'm loving it so far. Yeah. So basically, I noticed that it was on sale on the Xbox store for $5. So I bought the first one and the second one for $5 each. Now, I've got them physically on the Xbox, but I was like, you know what? I don't even know if my discs work. I'm just going to buy this digital version for $5, upscaled to HD. And I started playing the first one. I'm like 3 hours into it, and I'm loving it, dude. So much fun.
It is awesome. I honestly, I mean, that was groundbreaking when that came out, too. Yeah. And to this day, it still holds up as some of people's like top 10 RPGs of all time. So, it's incredible. KOTOR for life.
KOTOR for life, yeah. and dude, I love that it's not turn-based, because me personally, I prefer RPGs that aren't turn-based, because turn-based combat tends to get a little stale and repetitive to me. So that I like the combat system, and dude, I'm being an absolute evil asshole in the game to every single person.
That's kind of how I am. I always choose the worst thing. I'm just like, I wouldn't be like this in real life, so I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah, I'm trying to go as dark side as possible, dude. And it's kind of fun. Dude, some of the decisions you can make in that game is pretty fucked up, dude.
Yeah, right. I know. I actually need to throw that back in. It's been, I mean, God, man, maybe a decade since I've played it. So it's been a hot minute.
So it might be a fresh experience for you then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so another game, so one more game that I'm playing. Well, actually, that's a lie. There's a few more, but yeah, I told you, dude. I got a problem. I'm crazy, but no. So Psychonauts 2 is coming out in 6 days.
Right.
So I never did beat the original Psychonauts. I played through about half of it back in the day on the OG Xbox and never finished it. So I downloaded it on Game Pass, and I'm just binge playing my way through, because it's only like a 10 to 12 hour game.
Yeah.
So I'm just blasting my way through that. Dude, that game is so much fun. It still holds up today, man. I love it. It's a great game, and definitely going to be playing the second one when it comes out.
Didn't they do a VR?
They did, It's
that's right.
PlayStation exclusive, unfortunately. It's called Psychonauts Rhombus of Ruin, I believe. And I actually did play some of that. I didn't beat it, but I did play some of it on the PSVR, and it was fun. I liked it. It was cool.
Yeah, it doesn't hold up to like those OG, like the OG and maybe the new one, but it's also just a cool like art aesthetic. Like I enjoyed like how that is, and I think I'd like to see that series continue too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the art style is it kind of reminds me of like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, did you ever play the PS2 Nightmare Before Christmas?
No, dude. Is it good? I've heard it's good. Yeah,
it's a badass game. Yeah, you play Jack Skellington, and you're able to you can swing your head off like as a whip. If I'm not mistaken, but it's a really cool platformer. I think it's going upwards to like $35 or $40 now, which isn't. I mean, that's not terrible, but it's obviously on the high end for a PS2 mid-range there.
Yeah,
that's a great game though, man. I highly recommend the Night Before Christmas PS2 game.
Yeah, I've always heard good things about it, and I've actually sold a few copies of it in the past, and even like a year or so ago when I sold it, it was like $25 complete. So I can imagine it's probably gone up some since then. But yeah, so the
pandemic.
Oh, I know, dude. I know. Yeah, it's crazy. The last two games that I've been playing, I'm kind of just playing these on the side. I'm playing them with my nephew. My nephew, he's my partner in the YouTube channel. He does all the editing and stuff, and we're playing on Xbox Game Pass. We're kind of alternating between World War Z and Darksiders Genesis. Have you ever played World War Z, dude?
No. Now, is that where all the zombies come at you like a horde, right?
Yeah,
like nonstop. So
yes,
is it nuts,
dude? It is awesome. That game is, dude, it is so stressful, man, because you literally have hundreds and thousands of zombies attacking you, dude. It is insane. It's so, dude, your palms will be sweaty. Yeah.
Wasn't that supposed to be the selling point to that new game? What came out? What was that called? You know what I'm talking about? It's the same character that was in Force Unleashed, the character model, that actor.
You're not talking about Days Gone?
Yeah, Days Gone.
Yeah,
Days Gone. Yeah. Like, wasn't that the same thing? Like you were supposed to have like a horde come out. So what's the difference between World War Z and Days Gone when it's play mechanic?
So Days Gone, you know, it's a third person open world action adventure game. You don't fight as many hordes in Days Gone, but when you do run into a horde in that game, it is super, super intense. Whereas in World War Z is a mission-based game, so you play one mission at a time with up to 3 other players. Kind of like it plays like Left 4 Dead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now you're talking my language. Yeah. That's my favorite, man. I freaking love Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, it's basically Left 4 Dead, but World War Z and hordes of really fast running zombies. So.
All right, cool. Dude, I definitely would throw down on that. What are you playing it on right now?
Playing it on the Xbox Series X. It's on Game Pass. Okay. And you don't have to play it multiplayer. You can play it single player, but it's going to be a hell of a lot harder to play without somebody backing you up. I mean, you can play with the AI bots. But they suck.
Sure, yeah, just like most do. Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been playing, dude. Too much. Oh, and I'm always playing a GameCube game for a video on the channel. There's always that. So
yeah, it's funny. My GameCube. Oh, it's over here. I'm bad like that. My GameCube collection's growing up. I'm going for an exclusive set. I have 13 games left, but they're all the heavy hitters. Like I need Go-Go Hypergrind. I need Cubivore.
Yeah.
You know, you just kind of go down the line. I'm like, oh my God, this is $2,000 worth of games just to get these last 13. Like it's insane.
Yeah, trust me, I know, dude. I mean, I've got them all, so I've been there. I know.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the heavy hitters.
You jumped on it earlier than the bad price points now, right?
Yeah, I mean the prices were still high, but I definitely jumped on it before they skyrocketed. You know, but I still had to pay an arm and a leg for games like Cubivore and Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and stuff like that.
I had to get Gotcha Force was in the $600 range before the pandemic, right?
Well, no, not quite that much because when I bought Gotcha Force, I think I paid like $200 for it, something like that. But it's a lot. It's probably a lot more now. I haven't even checked lately, but yeah. So we got a question for you here, man. My question for Pac: why did Pac decide to collect for the Saturn? That's a good question. Let's hear it.
That's a good question. So I was I never had a Sega Saturn. I had a friend that had a Sega Saturn. We played a couple games on it. I think I played Knights and something else when I was a kid. So I actually missed that entire era. I was a PS1 fanboy all the way. I was playing all my PS1 fighting games, my X-Men versus Street Fighters, my Metal Gear Solid, right? All of that was my jam. And then the Sega Saturn, for the first time, I played X-Men versus Street Fighter from the Sega Saturn versus the PS1, and my mind was freaking blown, dude. The port of those games were almost arcade perfect on the Sega Saturn. Garbage on the PS1. You replay it, the frame rate's rough. You know, they literally pull out animation from it. So once I found that out, I was like, wait a minute, how many other games did I miss out that were on the Sega Saturn side for fighting games? And I just went down that library. And so I found myself going after fighters, shooters, and some of the unique titles that were consistent for it. But I just went down the rabbit hole of Sega Saturn at that point. And I now collect for the Japanese Sega Saturn specifically because I love their jewel cases, and their artwork is 100% better than the NTSC stuff that we got. So, I would say my Japanese Sega Saturn stuff is near the hundreds of titles now, and my NTSC is like, I think I've got maybe like 40 titles for like the North American releases. So man, the Japanese stuff, where it's at for me, it's small, it's compact, the artwork's better, and the ports are better. So like it's a win, and it's less expensive. Like
that's true.
Sometimes half. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Do some of the Japanese game have English options, or are some of them exclusively?
Yeah, so I'm not a big RPG fan, and of course that was huge for that era. And so a lot of those ones, if I grabbed them, I literally grabbed them for artwork alone.
Oh yeah.
But yes, you can. There's patches, downloads, and new developments from people right now that are currently trying to make language patches for all of that stuff. So eventually you'll be able to get into it. I mean, I think we're still a decade away from all of them being, language translated, but we're close. We're getting close.
Nice. Yeah, I don't really have any history with the Saturn, man. As a matter of fact, the only Sega console that I do have history with and nostalgia for is the Sega Genesis. Now, most recently, I got into the Sega Master System. You can see I've got some Master System games up there.
Yeah.
And I love the Master System. It's a fun console. But yeah, man, I never really got into the Dreamcast, the Sega CD, or the Sega Saturn. But one day I'm gonna dip my toes into those libraries and check them out.
There, I mean, maybe it'll die down when it comes to the popularity.
God, I hope so.
The Sega Saturn stuff is nuts. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been talking to friends about it, and I honestly think that the Sega Saturn, it went the same route as the Wii U, right? Where no one really cared about it at its time, and it was kind of just forgotten. And then one day, everybody realizes how many awesome titles there were for it.
Yeah.
So I honestly think like you're going to see the Saturn will go, the Wii U will go up just like the Saturn does on titles. Now, yes, they did port it over, but they ported a lot of this stuff over via arcade options and downloads and special bundle packs. But those core titles are not going down in price, so I could see that happening to the Wii U stuff too.
Yeah, for sure. Let me shout out a few people in the audience real quick.
Yeah.
Shout out to Retro Rivals. Shout out to Retro Gaming Pandemic. Shout out to my nephew Wolfello, who is also moderating the chat. So shout out to him. And by the way, he has a YouTube channel as well, people. As a matter of fact, you can probably click on it through the live chat maybe. But if not, just search Wolfello on YouTube. He makes videos about movies, and they're really good. It's a great way to learn about movies maybe you've never heard of. So check that out. Retro Gaming Pandemic. New YouTube channel alert with Retro Gaming Pandemic. They just released their third video today, and they're already killing it. They hit 100 subscribers in their first week, which is very impressive for a brand new YouTube channel. And they're
amazing, dude. I'm pretty sure that I busted my ass for 4 months
Me
to try
too,
to
dude.
get up there. Like it was hard. So
Yeah.
good job, guys. Good job.
Yeah, and they're killing it, man. Their videos are really high quality. They're just knocking it out of the park right out of the gate. Shout out to Scott, the lesser half of Retro Rivals. If I say he's the better half, if I say he's the better half, Jen will get mad at me. So I think I'd rather.
Scott's my bearded bro, dude.
Yeah, dude, Scott's awesome, man. He's they're both awesome. Both Jen and Scott are just awesome people, and I hope to be able to meet them in person in the near future as well. So that'd be awesome.
Not a lot of cool Canadians, not a lot of cool ones. So good job, guys.
Shout out to Dennis. Thank you for joining the stream, man. Who else? The Big D. Let's see who else we got here. Shout out to I thought I saw, there she is, LaBowie Bass Music. Shout out to Laura for joining the stream.
Laura?
She is a great supporter of the channel, good friend, and I really appreciate her support. I appreciate everybody's support tonight. Shout out to Zaxxon's Gaming. Thank you for joining the stream. Really appreciate it.
Zaxxon.
Now, Scott has a question, but before we get to Scott's question, I've got a question for you, Andy.
Yes.
Tell everybody the story about how we met. I want to hear this story from your perspective.
Okay, well, this is funny. So we were at Southeast Game Exchange. Everybody was already like 17 beers in. They had all been hanging out for a couple
including
hours
myself
at this restaurant. And my flight came in really, really super late. So I rolled in probably around 9 o'clock-ish. Everybody was always, a couple sheets to the wind. And I see Matt stand up and he heads off to the bathroom. And I was waiting for it'd been 3 hours plus my flight since I had gone. And I'm like, I got to go. So I saw him go in and I was like, oh, dude, this will be the perfect way that I can introduce myself. So he's at the urinal. The one next to him is empty. I roll up in there and I just awkwardly stare at him. I just stare right at his face. and he goes, and he looks at me, and I say, "Hey man, what are you up to?" He's like, "Oh, I'm here for a convention." And I'm like, "Oh, cool, nice." And granted, we're on a panel. We're on the same panel together.
And I didn't know it was you next to me.
Yeah, we had never met before. So I'm just this random awkward dude staring you down while you're trying to go to the bathroom. And I'm literally having a conversation like to the side of your face. Yeah. And I'm like, "Oh, cool. Oh, you're doing a panel? Oh, cool. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, so you're going to be a guest? Oh, that's probably nice to be a cool guest at the panel." And finally, like, he like turns over a little bit. He's like, "Dude, why is this guy talking to me so much while I'm at the urinal?" And I don't know if you actually knew it was me till you stepped away.
It was after I washed my hands.
Yeah, there you go. And then I turn around and Wes, part of Gaming Off the Grid, it literally just gives me a hug before I can even zip up, dude. and like I get a big hug, and then Matt turns around. He's like, "Wait a minute, that was you son of a bitch! Like you've been chatting to me at my face. I just thought it was some random guy that would stop talking to me while I was trying to go to the bathroom." So, dude, that was epic. It was. Epic.
Yeah, dude, seriously, I'm never gonna forget that. I'm never gonna forget that. Yeah, that's literally one of the best ways I've ever met somebody with, we're both standing there with our dicks in our hands, doing our business.
Yeah. It would have been worse if it wasn't you, like I guessed wrong, and it was just an awkward conversation with somebody else that looked like you. But I lucked out. I lucked out. It was somebody that I knew.
And then later on, I don't remember when, but later on, this dude sends me a text message because or a text message or a message somewhere because I was talking to him again about how awesome it was or how funny it was how we met, and he sends me a message that says, "You had on a nice watch."
Dude, if you ever want space, so let's say you're at like a rock concert and things are just nuts and people like you just need some space. Look at the guy next to you and be like, "Nice watch, bro." And he can go step down to the next urinal away from you. Give you some space. It was great. It was awesome. It was awesome, dude.
It was,
man.
Then,
we will always have a urinal bond.
That's true. The bonds don't get much deeper than that. Well, they do, but we're not going to go there. There's a line that can't be crossed, Andy. Okay.
Yeah. The night didn't go long enough.
Yeah. Right. There wasn't enough beer flying around, I guess. Oh God, what are we talking about right now? Shout out to Nick Marshall. Thank you for joining the stream, man. I really appreciate it. Glad to have you here. So let's get to Scott's question. This is actually a good question. So any games coming out soon that you guys are excited for? So Andy, let's hear it.
Yes. So first I'm going to say Back 4 Blood. We just talked about Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead 1, 2 came out. There's this badass cross download content that happened. I felt like they were on the top of the world, and then they just like the series just died, and it was like that doesn't make any sense, man. And then it's like, oh no, it makes sense because it's Valve, and they don't make threes of anything. And so after that happened, I've literally just been longing for a new Left 4 Dead, and then I see this Back 4 Blood trailer hit, and I was like, oh dude, the same developers are back on it. They've got all of these cool new monsters and mechanics. And I'm like, that game is it. And especially for couch co-op, just to be able to sit down with people and enjoy, that one's awesome. And then I didn't even know this. I feel like I'm a bad fan of this, but Axiom Verge just had the sequel.
Yeah, just came out.
Released like last week or something like that. Or
it was a surprise drop.
Yeah, and I haven't played. I love the first one, and now the next one's out. But of course, I'm a physical collector, so I want to get that when it comes out. And I'll probably do a special edition if Limited Run does it. So that's a badass game if you haven't played Axiom Verge. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is really, really good. What else? What else you looking forward to, man?
It's funny. I'm one of those people that are like, oh, I'm so excited for the Halo game. Like, I can't wait for the new Halo to come out. And I'm kind of over it now, dude. I literally it's been so many years and like they've pushed this stuff back. Xbox came and they're like, hey, so we don't really have anything available new for you guys to play, but hey, here's some Game Pass. You could play a bunch of old shit. And like, it's great. It's fantastic. But at this point, I just need it to come out because if it doesn't hold up and we've waited this long, I'm going to be pissed. I'm just going to be pissed. I'm just saying, like, what a what a waste of time. And that's really it, right? I don't even know if Xbox has a whole lot there that people are super excited for right now. So I want to see what Halo's truly going to give us. So if that happens, I'll be down.
Yeah, man, me too. Yeah, and you know, I mean, Microsoft, they're killing it with Game Pass right now, but they definitely need to start getting some exclusive titles out, which they will. I mean, they bought Bethesda, so they're going to start they're going to get all the Bethesda stuff. I think the only Bethesda game that they didn't get exclusively after the deal was Deathloop, and that's probably because Bethesda probably already had a contract with Deathloop with Sony, because Sony has so it's coming out on PlayStation 5 for like the first year before it even hits the Xbox, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So, oh, did we lose? Nope, there he is. So yeah, man, that's cool. Let's see, real quick, shout out to Vinny. Let's shout out to Vinny for joining the stream. Thank you. So yeah, I'm there's a lot of games I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to Metroid Dread because I'm a huge Metroid fan, especially the 2D Metroid games. Sure. So, and that comes out on October 8th, so that's not too much further. I'm actually kind of excited for the new WarioWare game, because WarioWare games are always fun.
Dude,
so
those are dope. People that don't play those, you don't understand what you're missing. When I think I played my first one on the Wii. Was that when it first started, or did it start on the Game Boy Advance?
It started on the GameCube and Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
Yeah, WarioWare Incorporated.
Yeah, I played my first one on the Wii, and I was just like, dude, how are people not talking about this game?
Yeah.
This game is so incredibly unique and different, and ever since then, it's just been a blast to play, especially a fun party game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited for that. They actually just released a free demo on the Switch. I haven't checked it out yet. I need to check that out.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's a new Mario Party coming out this year. Of course, I'm excited for that. Mario Party's always a blast. Let's see what else.
I was personally disappointed on number 10, like not number 10, the newest Mario.
Oh, on the Switch.
Like,
they didn't have enough boards. There were only 4 boards. That's really what disappointed me. Yeah.
I wonder if they were just pushing it. Maybe they just needed it out and they're still working on it. Or was there DLC that was ever offered, or they're just pushing that onto the next Mario Party?
Yeah, so. I think that they probably started making DLC and then they were like, you know what? Instead of doing DLC, let's just do a new game. You know what I mean? That's probably what they did.
Yeah, right. No doubt.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Back 4 Blood as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Definitely going to play that with Wolfello in the chat. So yeah, man, I'm trying to think of what else. Of course, I'm excited for Breath of the Wild too, but who knows when that's coming out? Hopefully next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, I'm not a big Zelda fan. I mean, little do you know about me, I'm not a huge Zelda fan. I never have been, but I actually just this year threw down on Link to the Past and Link's Awakening, and both of those I was like, how did I miss this stuff?
Oh,
like, why
great
did I
games.
Not
yeah.
give this enough? Obviously, you've got the shirt, dude. Like, it is epic. And people that haven't played those 2 games, Link's Awakening and Link to the Past, you're missing out. Like, I would say Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, like, there will be some people that try to throw down on it now and feel like it won't hold up. I think that when it first came out, epic. Like, they're, I mean, top games forever. But these ones, Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, they hold up. Like, they still hold up to this day.
Oh yeah.
It's fantastic. And I'm still not a huge Zelda fan, but I played Breath of the Wild. I still haven't beat it, but I have enjoyed the experience. So
yeah.
But I feel bad. The 2's going to come out. I haven't beat 1, and then I feel bad throwing 2 in, but that's what we do as gamers, right? We just jump on to the next thing, whether we finished it or not. So.
That's true. So unfortunately, people, since Andy's not much of a Zelda fan, we're going to have to end the podcast early. It's been a great show. Thanks, everybody, for joining. As always, keep playing games and having a good time. We'll see you all in the next one.
Yeah. What does Retro Rick say? You know, he's like, peace.
Yeah. Nah, I'm just kidding, man. Awesome. But no, I'm glad that you're playing those 2 and enjoying them. That's awesome, man. You should check out Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons on the Game Boy Color. Those are both really fun games.
Yeah, I've heard good things about those 2 as well.
Yeah.
I mean, what's funny is I probably own them. I just haven't put them in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Shout out to Dan493. 2001. Thank you for joining the stream. Excited for Advance Wars on the Switch. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. They're remaking Advance Wars. That's a good point. Also, Retro Gaming Pandemic says, aren't we getting a follow-up to Hollow Knight? Yes, we are. Hollow Knight Silk Song, which, you know, we don't know when it's coming out yet. There hasn't been a lot of news, but, yep, that is in the works. Very excited for that. Man, there's a lot of games I'm looking forward to, dude. I can't even think of them all right now, but I think the number one game I'm looking forward to in the immediate future would be Metroid Dread, just because I'm such a huge fan of the Metroid franchise, so I'm really looking forward to that. You know, I'm kind of looking forward to the new Far Cry game, too, Far Cry 6. I'm kind of looking forward to that. I like Far Cry.
Far Cry 5, man, I got addicted to that game.
Me
I thought
too.
That was... I don't even know why. Like, I hadn't really jumped on the Far Cry bandwagon, but when I played 5, I was like, "What? Like, how did I miss this one too?" I think I was about a year behind, like jumping on it. But dude, the story, like all of the the customizable, like the way that you can traverse the level, whether you want to go guns blazing or stealth, you know. And I know these mechanics have been around for a long time, but it's like, I don't know. Far Cry had all the right ingredients went into that game, and 5 is just, dude, 5 is epic.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, dude. Did you beat it? Did you beat Far Cry 5? Dude, the ending was insane. The way it ended was crazy.
Insane.
Like, it was not a happy ending.
No, and that's what's cool about some games, right? And that's just the same thing with like movies, right? When we watch movies, man, they always have to have a happy ending, and when one doesn't, like when your title character passes away or you have some crazy thing happen, those are more intriguing stories and they stick with you, in my personal opinion, than like something that wraps up all the loose ends there. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no doubt.
I agree. Quick shout out to NES Addict. Thank you for popping in the stream. Just wanted to jump in and say, hey friends, people, if you haven't checked out NES Addict on YouTube, check out NES Addict. Got awesome stuff. He's an awesome guy.
Rock.
Yeah, for real. For real.
Jay just dropped a video too, a new Oddities video. So go check him out, dude. Also, get that guy up, man. I don't know why he's still stuck at the subs he's stuck at. His content is badass.
Yes.
So
agreed.
Give him some love, man. Give him some love.
Agreed. He's an awesome dude too. Super nice guy. And I'm looking forward to Jay. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you again, brother. So whether it's this year or next year at Siege, looking forward to it, man. So yeah, check out NES Addict. So Andy, what was that? Did you just have a seizure, man? Are you okay over there? Do I need to call 911?
I've had too much games.
Yeah. All right, so dude, I gotta ask you this, man, because as I've told you, I'm getting really heavily into filmography, videography, filmmaking, all that good stuff. So first, I want to ask you what your history is when it comes to filmmaking and videography. I'm curious. So if you don't mind sharing that.
Sure. So I actually went to school for digital filmmaking. So funny story is I wanted to be an animator. I wanted to be a Disney 2D animator. That's what I wanted to do. And when I went to college, all the professors were like, don't be an idiot, go into 3D. 2D's dying. Yeah. So I was like, but I don't want to do 3D. I want to do 2D. And so I did. I learned a little bit of storyboarding, and I learned a little bit of, of the general formula of filmmaking during that first year. And I decided that I loved it. I literally was like, okay, I'm moving to a degree in digital filmmaking. I said, this is the way that it's going to go. I absolutely love this. Everything was moving away from true film. And so I jumped on that, and I was like, I've always wanted to be a music video director. Like, that's what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to go do music videos, and realized here in Washington, that life was not for me. I would have to go to LA or move to Vancouver. And so instead, I decided to just get into photography. So that's kind of what happened. But my passion for filmmaking never really died. So every single year, we make like 2 to 3 short films. So we would make these short films that are 72 or 48-hour short films. That was like from start to finish. You write, you shoot, you edit, all in this time period. And it's just kind of kept the craft alive, and I've really enjoyed it. And I pushed that stuff onto my YouTube channel. And decided, hey, I love filmmaking, I love video games. Why can't I put these two together? So that's kind of where that came from. And ever since then, I have been a huge fan of just the craft of filmmaking. Everything that comes from that initial like concept and idea all the way through your production, post-production. I loved every minute of it. And it gives me an opportunity to do that with YouTube, because we get to basically make short stories every single time we post a video. So that's been a blast for me, man. And ever since then, that's always been where I'm at. I wanted to be a director from that point on, and I've decided to kind of push that in various aspects of what I do. But yeah, that's been me in a nutshell, man. I've been a filmmaker for 20 years now, and I can't stop. So
very cool, very cool. So so how many short films have you been involved with?
So I would say we're probably at, give or take, ones that actually saw the screen, probably 20. We've probably done 20 short films.
Wow.
And I've been debuting some of them here or there on the YouTube channel every now and again. Now, to be honest, my audience wants video games. So when I debut a short film, they're just kind of like, okay, cool, whatever, show me more video games. But those that do enjoy it, like, it's been a blast to kind of post the old content and talk about it. So it's been super fun, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, man, and like I told you earlier before we went live, I watched your short film where you played the car salesman. Dude, that was fun, man. That was fun. I really enjoyed that. People, if you haven't seen that, you can find it on Andy's YouTube channel. Just go to his videos and scroll down a little bit. Do you remember the title of that one?
Yeah, it's called Be One with Yourself.
Be One with Yourself.
SELL. Yeah.
Sweet.
So basically just a guy that's down on his luck, and he decides to go to a guru, and the rest is history. So man, that was fun though. I remember shooting that one. Nuts. We ended up jumping into location scouting, and we went and found a used car sales lot, and we were just like, hey, here's the deal. We got a film we have to shoot here in 72 hours. Can you help us? Will you let us go out to your car lot like we're selling? Yeah. They're like, yeah, sure, man, go have at it. So we were able to be on the lot.
That's awesome.
Figure all that stuff out. We obviously gave them some props for letting us do it, give them some free advertising, since it was going to be for a local area. But yeah, man, it's so funny when you're doing these short films, the amount of creativity that you have to throw in there to accomplish your task is insane. Like when you lay everything out that you accomplished over those 72 hours, like I shot the whole script, I wrote it, I verified dialogue, I went location scouting, I had to go grab equipment, we had to get the lighting done, and you just keep going down all this path. You're like, wow, like how in the world did I do that? But I wouldn't change it for the world, dude. It's like the experience you get from it is like nothing else.
Do you sleep at all?
You don't. Okay, so basically what we would do, we'd go grab, we have a very unique formula to it. We would always grab pizza. If you didn't grab pizza, it was bad luck. So we'd always grab some pizza. We'd sit down, we'd hash out what the story was about. Then that night we would go back, and I would just be typing up the screenplay the entire time. Like I would do all the dialogue, scene settings, whatever. And then obviously we'd know where we were. So I knew I couldn't go do like a boat scene if we weren't close to the water or something like that. So after that, we would then go prop shopping and location scouting for that. So we'd have to go buy everything we needed. So we're not even at 24 hours yet. We already have the idea done, the script done, and then we go shopping for costumes and props. After that part was done, then we would move on to like setting our scene and what we were going to do, blocking it out, what type of things we want to do. And then we give ourselves probably 4 hours or so to take a nap. So you sleep, you kind of swap with everybody else. I'll take a nap. You guys go get equipment. When you come back, I'll be ready to go, and we'll move on to that thing. Then after we were done with that, we would literally shoot everything within probably a 12-hour period. And then that gave us roughly 12 hours left when we died at the end of the day to edit. And editing is honestly the hardest thing. Because not only are we doing fully ADR sound design, but then we're moving to this post-production stuff. And to be honest, the thing that puckers your butt the most is having to render that son of a bitch out. Because if it doesn't render at the right time, or if something happens and you don't get to submit it before that time period, you're out of the competition. Man, the stress is there. It's intense. It's a blast. God, I love it though. I absolutely love it.
Wow. So basically, you have to have you have to have a great team of people. You have to have great communication, and you just like, yeah, man, I can't even imagine. Wow.
Well, and we're not opposed to fighting, right? I mean, we want an idea, and we decide, like, you almost have to have a conversation like you're talking to a producer. Like, is it in the budget? Like, for time? Like, is it in the time budget? If it's not, you got to scrap it and move on for your next thing. But you don't have a lot of time to dick around. So there would be times where we're like, I don't think this is going to work. And it's like, I don't care. We have to shoot it or otherwise we're screwed. And there's other times we decided not to do something. Then we're in the editing room and we're like, oh no, like we totally forgot to shoot a scene. Like there would be multiple times we'd be SOL. And you're like, how do you creatively move this on? That's when you go grab a piece of stock footage and you do like a quick cloud scene of things moving and like the hyperbolic state. It was, dude, honestly, if I get a chance, it's been a couple years since we'll be able to do one, just because we grew up and we had families and moved on from there. But right now, man, I would love to start doing one again. So I know I talked to Robert from Gaming Off the Grid, and he wants to do one together. Oh,
so, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. A few quick shout outs real quick. Shout out to Retro Obsessed. Shout out to Hurry Shane.
Tom. Hurry Shane. What's going on, guys?
So, and Hurry Shane has a quick question for you. He says, Andy, been a while since I was able to watch any videos. Have you posted any of the old content in a while? I love those.
Oh, yeah. So I did, Hurricane. I just posted the film noir short film that we did. It was basically all about a masseuse assassin. As if you get a chance, go check that one out. It's called Pressure Points, and I have it on my YouTube channel. I've just posted that one, I want to say, probably 4 weeks ago, something like that. So it was the last video that I posted. And I took a little YouTube break, get my mind right. Work is super crazy for me right now, so I'm excited to jump back in, but I want to do it right for everybody. So, yeah.
Sweet.
That's where I'm at right now.
Well, man, listen, thank you for joining this podcast. You know, considering you decided to take a break, I appreciate you taking a coming out of that break to come on the show, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, I still love video games. I'm still in the YouTube community. I can't not ever disappear. But you know, every now and again, you got to breathe a little bit and then get back into the fight, right? So I kind of feel like I'm in between rounds right now. Like I'm about to come out swinging. So I just had to give myself a little bit of a mental clarity check.
Well, I'll be there for it, brother. You know, you got a supporter here, so I will be there for it. All right, so Andy, I want to ask you this, man. So I am in the process of writing my first short film. I've got the entire thing outlined. I know exactly how the story is going to go. I know how it's going to start. I know how it's going to end. I know every scene that's going to be in it. I know all the characters that are going to be in it. So I'm fixing to start busting out the rough draft of the script and then refining it and revising it until I've got it exactly the way I want it. Now, my question for you is, because I'm going to be doing everything. My nephew's going to be helping me. I'm going to have a few other people helping me. I've got enough good equipment to put together a quality production. I've got a great microphone. I've got a great camera. I've got lighting equipment. I've got pretty much everything I need. Yeah. So here's my question for you, Andy. As someone who has quite a bit of experience working on short films, what kind of advice would you give to somebody like me who's getting ready to write, produce, direct, edit everything themselves, do the lighting, the audio on their very first short film? So what kind of advice would you give somebody like me this is their first time creating a short film? And my goal is to make it as high quality and as good as I possibly can. Now I'm realistic at the same time, and knowing that because it's my first short film, there's probably going to be a lot of problems, just like when you do your first YouTube video. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no doubt.
So what kind of advice would you give me, man?
So first I got to ask you the question is, do you want it to be perfect or do you want to get it done?
Well, I want to get it done, but at the same time, I want it to be as good as I can possibly make it. Like, I want it to legit feel like a high quality production. I want it to feel like an actual film. I don't want it to feel like a YouTube video. I want it to feel like an actual short film. I want it to have some cinematography to it. But of course, I want to get it done, and I'm going to get it done. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. it's not gonna be perfect because it's
Yeah.
my first one. So that's, I mean,
Right.
I mean, they're never perfect.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as the perfect short film, but yeah. So
Right. Well, that is one thing that lots of filmmakers get into, is that they want their first one to be their masterpiece. And as much as you want that, you won't learn anything if you don't just do it.
Right.
So, first thing is, you can't create anything without a proper story and a script. So if you do the legwork now, it'll be less work when you go into the production. I would say, if you want it to run as smooth as possible, type out everything. If you don't even know what you want to say for your line of dialogue, but you know where you want it to get there, then I would just write something easy that's kind of like, I need to make sure that Harry gives Sally a glass of milk.
yeah.
So in that, maybe you want him to say a joke, but you say, Harry says, do you want a glass of milk? And then under it say, I want a witty line or something like that. So then you can always go back to it later, but then now you've moved that chunk of meat forward, right? Until you get that all filled out. And then once you have it all rendered on that side and you feel good about it, storyboard all day long. Like if you don't storyboard, you don't really have a good idea about what you finally want to produce, because it's easy to go out in the field and be like, I want it to look like this, or this is going to be my framing, or I'm interested in this type of blocking. But if you don't try to storyboard it out, you're going to miss things that could have not only been detrimental to you, but sometimes you can shoot things off sequence, right? And save yourself a bunch of time. Let's say you have two scenes that are both going to be dark lit, right? But they're two separate areas. It's supposed to be nighttime on both sides of things. You can shoot that back to back in the same time. Just have your actors change into different costumes, have them shoot the other line, shoot on the other side of the room. Boom, it's done. But if for some reason you did it in chronological order, I could see yourself totally wasting your time and doing two separate night shoots where you're setting up lights both times, trying to get the background lighting proper on both times. So it's definitely, you start to learn all of these little tidbits down the line that's going to save yourself hours and hours worth of work. And so if you get your script done, get it out, storyboard every time, and then try to block out things that make sense altogether, everything else will come together. It really will. But also, as much as it sucks, overshoot everything. Everything. Make sure that if you do 17 scenes, do 18. Right? You got to make sure that when you go back to that editing room floor, if you need something, even just for a split second, it gives you more opportunity to have it. You always want that you're not going to use than no content at all, or be stuck where you have to cut a scene in the first place because you didn't edit it right. So, or shoot it right. So there you go, buddy. That's my 101 filmmaking for you. Hopefully that helps.
No, that helps a lot, man. And we actually are going to storyboard it. He's a really talented artist, so we're going to work together on the storyboarding after I finish the script. But yeah, so I'm really excited for it. Now, I'm trying to write this first short film where I can shoot it on as close to a $0 budget as possible. So it's a single location. There's going to be a couple of outdoor scenes, but then the rest is going to be indoor in one location. So I'm not going to have to shoot at a bunch of different locations. There's only going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's going to be about 6 characters with significant dialogue. So you got there's your protagonist, and then there's going to be 5 other characters that will have a significant bit of dialogue. The rest will be background. So the rest of the people that will be in it, they'll just be background action. Because it's going to take place at a flea market. So there will be some background action. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and tell you just a little bit about what it's going to be about, man. And this is an exclusive. This is a RetroWolf 88 exclusive. Everybody that's watching this stream live, you're about to hear what my first short film is going to be about. But of course, I'm not going to spoil it. You know, you're just going to get the basics, the building blocks of the story. And before I do that, shout out to Loco Insomnia. Thank you for joining the stream. Really appreciate it.
Loco, my friend, how you?
Oh, doing? You know this guy? Sweet. Yeah, thank you for joining the stream, man. So Andy, let me kind of give you just like the basics of what this story is going to be about. So essentially, it's going to be about. Oh, you're frozen on me. You still with us? Oh, there you go. You're back.
Yeah. Can you? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we're good. We're good. So essentially what this story is going to be about is you've got our protagonist, let's just call him Matt, and then you've got a really good friend of his, let's just call him Andy. Okay? And Matt and Andy are both original name. Yeah. And Matt and Andy are both video game collectors, okay? And Andy is taking Matt to a flea market for the very first time. Matt's never been to a flea market before in his life. Flea market, swap meet, whatever you want to call it. All right. Matt's never been to one in his life. So it's a new experience for Matt. And Matt is he's a very shy, introverted person. He doesn't do well with conflict. He's non-confrontational. He's that kind of individual, right? And so Andy's taking Matt to a small indoor flea market. It's going to be his first flea market, with the hopes, and Matt hopes to be able to have a good experience and find some games. You know what I mean? Find something rare. Hit the jackpot, score. You know what I mean? When you go out hunting, you're always hoping to score something rare. Little does Matt know, Andy's fucking with him. Andy's playing a prank on him because this flea market is one of the craziest flea markets, and Andy knows there's pretty much a 0% chance that Matt's going to find any games, and everybody that sells stuff at this flea market is absolutely insane. So Matt's going to go into this flea market, and he's going to interact with 4 different vendors throughout the course of the short film, and each vendor is going to be an absolutely insane interaction. Each subsequent vendor is going to be even greater conflict than the last, and that's really all I can say. I don't really want to say anything else, but yeah. So it's very much a story based on experiences that I've had and that other people have had in flea markets. And I don't want to say, I could say more, but I don't want to say anything else because I don't want to give away too much. But it's essentially going to be the story of a guy that's never been to a flea market. He goes to a flea market and he has an absolutely crazy experience. And there we go.
Are you going to do the flea market? Like, are you dressing it yourself? Like, you have to get all the actors and everything in there? Okay.
Yep.
So how big are you going? Like, how big do you want this production to be?
So it's not going to be very big. So this indoor flea market, there's going to be like maybe 6 vendors there, but he's only, our character, our hero is only going to be interacting with about 4 of the vendors. So the other 2 vendors, they'll just kind of be in the background. So it'll be just like a very small flea market. You know what I mean? A very small swap meet, whatever you want to call it. So essentially I'll have to set up about 6 tables and get some props together for 6 different tables, and so it won't be that bad. I can literally go to a flea market and just buy a bunch of junk, you know what I mean, that I can just throw on the on the tables. Sure. But yeah, so the way, like I said, the way that I'm gonna write it, I'm gonna try to make the story as interesting as possible. It's gonna have a lot of conflict, but it's also gonna have a lot of comedy. It's gonna be a really good balance of drama and comedy. There is going to be, and I think it's gonna. I'm thinking the short film's probably gonna be between 8 and 10 minutes. It's gonna be a little bit longer than your typical short film, but that's because I want to try to get at least a little bit of character development in there. Because you remember our protagonist, he's a very shy, non-confrontational person. Right. So my goal is, by the end of the short film, my goal is that he actually overcomes some of that by the end of the short film.
Sure.
So that's
you
where
have to have a character. Yeah, you have to have a character arc. If you don't have a character arc, no one will care about your character. Because if he's still the same guy from the beginning, then what's the point of watching the story? You always want to see a hero's journey, is what they call it. So if you get yourself to, you got to overcome, you got to speak to a messenger, you always got to get somebody that gives you some type of plot point device, right, that moves something forward, and maybe a MacGuffin where you think the audience thinks they know where it's going to go, and then you kind of give them something else at the end. So but that's a good time, man. 8 to 10 minutes. Most people will sit through that. 15-minute short films, it's kind of harder for people to want to give that their all. So I think that's a good time.
Yeah, for sure. And when I mapped it out, when I outlined it, and outlined all the different scenes and the different interactions, I knew that the only way I would be able to tell this story is if it's somewhere in that time range for length.
Right.
But yeah, so our
dude.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited, man. I'm pretty excited. My goal is to have the script completely finished, like the final version of the script done by, I'm going to say by the end of October. That's going to be my goal there is to, because I've got a lot going on over the next month, so I don't know how many chances I'm going to get to work on it, but I'm hoping to be able to film it maybe before the end of the year. The good thing about it, because most of the story is going to take place indoors, I could film it during the winter if I need to. So yeah.
Are you looking for a release then this next year? Like you'd like to debut it in the summer sometime?
I think I'm thinking if everything goes well, I could possibly release it before the end of March, before the end of the first quarter of the year, if everything goes well.
Look at you go. That's it. That's pretty demanding. That's giving yourself 6 months to finish your whole production. So yeah, no doubt. Well, and I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming a lot of people know this about you, but you got to work with the Game Chasers on their film. So you've had a lot of like on-set experience recently. So this will hopefully prepare you for that too. Yeah,
dude, for real, man. The 4 days that I was on set, I learned, and keep in mind, this is before I started to develop. This was before I really started to get into filmmaking. This is before I started to get interested in it. The Game Chasers movie is what got me interested in filmmaking. That's the spark that lit the fire. But awesome. The 4 days that I was on set, dude, I was like a sponge, man. I was just watching and observing everything and just soaking it all in. And I learned a lot. I really did learn a lot just from standing there, just watching everything. You know what I mean? So that was a great experience.
No, that's awesome, man. It's it's cool too, because they went pretty hard on the production too, because I know there was some high-end production companies that they brought in to try to help them not only with filmmaking but also audio, and it's a monster sometimes to get in there, and it's feature length too, right? They're going for a 90-minute plus runtime, so that's crazy. And they got a legit production company, dude. That movie, I really based on what I saw filmed, man, I really truly believe that it's going to be a good movie. I have a lot of faith in it, and it's going to be very high quality. They had a great, I mean, they had $100,000 camera. They didn't buy it, they rented it, but the camera with all the parts is like if you were to buy everything outright, it would be like $100,000. Well, and to be honest, it's stupid to buy equipment when it comes that high, because if you break something, you want it insured. So if I were you, I would rent, because then you can actually have that stuff insured, and you get to write that side of it off. So I don't know anybody at this point from a production side of things that actually own the camera unless they're the ones renting it out.
Right.
So
that's true.
Now, granted, we could talk about like, the prosumer cameras, the A7s of the world, the Reds of the world, Dragons, Magics, Black Magics, like all that stuff is up there in like the $10,000, $20,000 range. But like when you get to these high end, like Alexa cameras, dude, these things are like $250,000, $1 million cameras. Like that's insane. And sometimes it's just the glass alone that costs a couple $100,000. So those lenses it's insane.
Yeah. It's insane. Yeah, for real. A few quick shout outs in the chat. We've got Brett. Shout out to Brett. We actually got to meet
Brett.
Yeah, we actually got to meet Brett at Southeast Game Exchange and hang out with him. He's a really good dude. Brett, looking forward to hanging out again, man. Thank you for joining the stream. Really appreciate it. Let's see, anybody else? Oh, Cheap Finds Gold Mines in the house. Hey-o. What is up, my friends? And I'm very excited because they're coming into town on Sunday, and I'm going to take them to a bunch of flea markets Sunday. So, it's very exciting. This will be I got to meet them at Siege, but I didn't get to talk to them very, very long. So I'm definitely looking forward to them coming into town. I'm going to take them through the flea market gauntlet, as I call it. There's a lot, dude. Andy, if you ever come to the Chattanooga area, dude, I will take you to some badass flea markets, man. For real.
All right. I'm down. How
Dude.
far are you away from Southeast, the Game Exchange in Greenville?
Yeah, so it's like a 5-hour drive, and that's if I take the scenic route. 5 hours. I could probably make it 4 hours if I took the interstate, but it's like I'm just like, you know what? An extra hour, I can have a beautiful drive with very little traffic. So yeah, it's only 5 hours. It's not that bad.
Yeah. Well, what we have to do? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What we have to do is I need to set up a trip next year then and come early, and we need to go hit some stuff up. That's
man.
Like a blast to me.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. Yeah, man. If you wanted to do that and drive to my neck of the woods and maybe fly out of Nashville or something like that to get back, we can definitely do that, man. That would be a lot of fun. Another shout out. We got Peter Anchor. What's up, Peter? I haven't talked to you in a while, man. I hope you're doing well. Peter's local. He actually lives in the Chattanooga area as well. So shout out to Peter. So yeah, cool. I think that's everybody in the chat to shout out. I don't see any questions. Make sure I didn't miss any questions.
I feel like there was some stuff when we were deep into it that we might have missed, but
yeah, probably so. So Andy, all right. So let me ask you this, man.
Yes.
So I have a boom pole. I have a $700 Rode NTG3 shotgun mic.
I also have an X4732 working gate calculator. And also with me, I'm going to bring my entire encyclopedias on shoot so that I don't fuck that up. Okay, go ahead. I'm just kidding. Kidding. Okay, go ahead. I'm just fucking with you. Go ahead.
Damn it, Andy. Dude, you just completely threw me off, man.
Okay. All right, you have a boom pole and you have a microphone.
I have a microphone. Yeah. So, and I've got an audio recording interface, all that good stuff. So I wanted to ask you if you have any advice to me for shooting audio, because I'm thinking I'm going to have a boom pole operator. That is something that I haven't taken the time to really learn a lot about. Now, I also have some pretty decent lav mics. I have some pretty decent lav mics as well. But yeah, so do you have any advice on capturing audio?
Yeah. So lav mics are not a bad option as long as your characters are not running or shaking or moving, because there's nothing you can do about it. You're going to get feedback from scratching on that mic all the time. Now, a boom pole is great, but an operator's got to be even better. Not only do they have to be familiar with your script on where they want it to go, but they have to be very clean, like on that audio. So there's a lot of people that use a boom pole wrong. A lot of people will direct it directly to the actors, but mainly what you're wanting to do is you want to capture what that scene setting is, because what you're going to do is you're going to take that audio later and hopefully you're going to build that in with your ambient sound. So right on every set, any single time that you ever shoot anything, record your audio with nobody saying anything for a minute straight. Number one, always do that. If you don't do that, then you get yourself into a spot where if you need to match settings or scenes and you need to transition that audio, you don't have any dead space sound that you need out of that. And that's honestly the number one thing I see wrong with people that are shooting for film. Now, granted, I've got an easy Rode mic I put onto my digital SLR. It points right at my face. I do it for my YouTube channel. But if I was truly going to go get it ready for production, make sure that you have a dead cat or a Zeppelin, right? It was just a big, huge furry, especially if you're going to deal with wind, if you're going to do your outdoor shoots. You have to try to eliminate as much of that wind resistance as possible. That's that one honestly sucks the most. If you don't care and you think your actors are going to be good, you can just ADR it. So you could shoot the whole thing raw. Who cares about the audio as long as you understand what they're saying, and then have them repeat that audio indoors. Go put yourself in a closet surrounded by clothes and shoot your stuff with that mic again, and then lay that track on top of it with dialogue replacement. So it depends on which way you want to go, though. So, I mean, run and gun people, if you can get that boom pole stuff done right, you normally can use that audio. But 90% of the time, people don't do it right. So you end up having to replace that audio, especially from dialogue. Well, people's biggest pet peeves, if you can't hear what people are saying, does the story matter anymore? So,
yeah, right.
And to be honest, audio is more than 50% of every single media production you've ever seen. No one ever notices the 1,000 sound effects and audio replacement and dialogue stuff that you do. And so, yeah, that has to be really important. But if you're going to get somebody, honestly, hit up like a local, gig website, Craigslist, whatever. Just say, I'm literally looking for a boom pole operator. Get somebody that knows what they're doing.
Okay.
Because if you, again, you do it wrong and you'll be cursing yourself in the edit room when you can hear everything. So that's a rough go. That's a rough go for sure. Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. See if I can find somebody that's willing to be a boom operator on no pay. That might be a little tricky, but
yeah, that part's hard. Honestly, if you want to, you can just go to YouTube. Everybody can go to YouTube and just type in like, give boom pole operator techniques, and people will talk to you about like how to wrap your cords, how to adjust your pole on site,
how to adjust your pole.
You are going into how to adjust your pole on site. I'm super good at it.
Yeah.
If you have a mixer, you have a mixer?
I do not have a mixer, no.
Do you have an H4 or like a
I have a Zoom H5
recorder?
I have a Zoom H5, yeah.
So with the Zoom H5, if you have a decent pair of headphones, you should be able to really know what you're getting into before you start that audio. But when you go to your location, just know what you're expecting. Are you going to have planes and trains and automobiles going, is there a road behind you? Are your extras at a table, 3 feet behind you chit-chatting? So those are all things that you don't even realize. Do you have a refrigerator going? There's so many different hums we don't hear, but then all of a sudden you bring your audio in and you're like, oh man, I got a high-pitched squeal out of nowhere, or I've got some weird low rumble. So yeah, all that audio stuff is really, really important, and to be honest, sometimes more important than the video side of it. So take care, my friend.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. That makes sense. So another question for you, and I hope you don't mind that I'm picking your brain on all this stuff.
No, dude, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Well, actually, hold on real quick before I get to my question for you. I think we got a question from Cheap Finds Gold Mines. What do we have here?
Gold Mines.
Now, here's a question y'all might be able to answer. We snagged a Canon GX7 Mark II at Goodwill for $6, but there is a camera lens error, jammed lens. Any tips on how to repair this $350 camera? Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
So a lot of times it's going to be the connection on the like the inner circle, but it could just be that it's dirty. A lot of those ones, it's basically like a electronic detection device that shows whether the camera's in there. But if for some reason there's some issue with the servo itself, then that's a whole nother story. So I honestly don't know if it depends on what the problem is. So if it's a jammed lens, does it mean like you can't even pop it out? Like, is that what that means? Or you can't even put it like on the camera? And you need to make sure that you have the right adapter. So Canon uses EF, if I'm not mistaken, EF lens brackets, and Nikon uses a different one. And so if you're trying to use the wrong lens, it's like round peg, square hole, like it's not going to work. So
yeah. So good luck with that, Cheap Finds Gold Mines. Hopefully you can figure it out. If not, at the very least, you should be able to sell the camera even with that issue for more than $6. So I would say you'll still make a profit. So you could
just flip it that way.
Yeah, for sure. They said it's stuck out and won't fall back into the camera. Interesting.
Stuck out and won't fall back into the camera. Oh, yeah. So that's the server or servo. Like it's obviously got a broken mechanic inside of it. Then. So, I mean, can you push it? Can you push it back in with a little force, or does it feel like if you're going to push it, it's going to break? That's a whole. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know. You might be SOL.
Well, I hope not. But hey, Andy, I don't know if you saw, dude. If you haven't seen, you need to go to Cheap Finds Gold Mines Instagram page, dude. They literally just hit the fucking jackpot of video games from a hoarder. They went to a hoarder's house and they literally got 400 to 500 sealed video games, dude. Dude, they got freaking.
Hold on, let me see.
Oh, dude, it's insane. I tell you what, Andy, I gotta take a piss, man. So if you don't mind, entertain the audience. Check that out. I'll be right back.
I got that.
Everybody, I'll be right back.
Should I go ask him how his watch is, guys? Let me know. If you already know, you know. Hold on, guys. I'm going to go back through this because I think we missed some questions. So hopefully you can hear me here. Local photography store, Midwest photo. I don't have power to put it up on the screen, so I'm sorry, but I can read it. It will clean your lens for you. I'd see if you have something near you. Okay, so Retro Gaming Pandemic has a good idea on that too. Retro Rivals had this happen with an Olympus camera, no doubt. I mean, it's cool when you can flip that type of stuff, to be honest. Retro Rivals says Retro Rick is killing it with a phone. So it's funny. I've noticed this too, is that Rick has been using his iPhone, and the iPhone capture on audio is absolutely fantastic for reducing noise. But he is in a situation where most of the time he does have some background noise. And I've noticed that he's kind of screwed when he goes into some of these Goodwills, because he has to bring the audio back in and pull out some of the music, or otherwise he gets demonetized. In fact, I think the newest one that Rick did, that one got him a little bit. And then also Rick and I were going through his, which one was that? It was his giving money for questions at Siege. So he was doing like trivia questions for everybody. And he had the convention was so loud, and he was using the audio for that. And you could tell there was a huge difference. So we probably worked on that for an hour or so, playing with audio levels, doing our noise reduction, messing with it to see what we could get out of that audio. And I think he finally got it. But if you watch that one, you can tell that there's some background noise there too, for sure. Wait, what was Scott's advice here? It said, Scott's advice is to turn the mic on. My setting is if your significant other sets up the mic, make sure it's plugged in properly. That's true.
Nice.
That's true.
Hey, shout out to Steve Craig Retro Games.
My bearded brother. I love you, Steve. Man, thanks for hanging out with me at Siege, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, Steve, thanks for popping in the stream, dude, and I'm looking forward to hanging out again. Steve actually doesn't live far from me. He lives in Atlanta, which is like 2 hours away. So nice. me and him are definitely going to be getting together and shooting some YouTube shit together, so I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Do me a favor, guys. Hit up Steve's channel. Steve has an awesome collection. He just completed his Wii U complete North American set.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he will literally walk you through some of the coolest stuff. I was going on, I did a YouTube series. So this is what's funny about YouTube, man. So there's people that tell you they love your series, and then you realize no one really watches it and you're wasting your time. So just FYI. But I did a series on Game Gear, like the Game Gear grind is what I called it. And it basically was me going after my childhood Game Gear set. Out of nowhere, Steve sends me 2 sealed Game Gear games, complete in like their protective covers and everything. Like, just super good dude. But his collection, not only of video games but handhelds, is bad.
Yes.
So check out Steve. And when you see him in a Star Wars dress, tell him I said hi.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Hey, and Wolfellow threw Steve's YouTube channel link in the chat. So you guys can find that right in the chat. So check out Steve's channel. He is an awesome dude, and he has an epic beard, really epic beard. I'm a little jealous of it, if I'm being honest, because I have a hard time growing a beard. Maybe one day. Who knows? We'll see.
He showed me pictures with it without, and I was like, that's not you. You look like a different dude, man. Get out of here. For real.
Yeah, dude. Let's see.
Gaming Pandemic asked who my puppy was in the background.
Yeah.
Is he? I don't know. I know you'll see him run back and forth here. His name's Oakley. He's a half shepherd, half red heeler mix. We've had him for 10 years. But he's a badass dog, dude. But if anyone comes to the door he doesn't know, he's going to ruin this podcast. So just FYI. He won't stop barking, dude.
Gotta love dogs, man. Dogs are awesome. So, all right. So, Andy, here's my question for you, man.
Okay.
I am struggling to decide how I want to control my camera rig. Okay. So I've got I've got a cage rig that I built based on a YouTube video. This guy built a really awesome cage rig. I followed his guide, got the same parts, built this cage rig. It's a really nice cage rig for getting handheld footage. But holding it for long periods of time is a little bit rough, man. It's a little bit rough. Now, I've also got a shoulder mount. It's not a great shoulder mount. It's a newer brand shoulder mount. It's not that great. It doesn't really, the weight balance is not very good. So it's like there's no point in even using it as a shoulder mount because most of the weight is here instead of. Right. So I'm trying to decide whenever I do get ready to shoot my short film, I'm trying to decide how I want to control the camera, and I wanted to know if you have any advice on that. And I do have tripods, of course, but I'm still kind of up in the air on that.
So if you're going to do a camera move, make sure it has motivation. Don't do a camera move just because you want it to be cool. If there's two people just talking and that conversation's not supposed to lead anywhere, there's no reason to do a camera move. If that conversation is supposed to bring your audience like slowly into the conversation, so you're like, my character's talking about something super interesting right now, then your audience should start to slowly move into their face, right? You know, you start to have a conversation, it's just like, the night was black, it was cold, it was dark, and he looked at me in the eyes and he said, hey-o, like whatever, I don't know. So but if for some reason you want your audience to disconnect with that character, let's say they've done something wrong. Let's say they've done something that was like unforgivable. You want your audience to not be with them anymore. So you're going to start to pull back as they tell this chilling story of how they've killed a man or something like that, right? But make all of those camera moves, make them make sense, because if for some reason you throw stuff in there, it'll piss people off. Now the reason I'm saying that, it will help you with why you're choosing to move and rig and make everything up. Number two, counterbalance your shoulder rig. Grab that guy on the back. I don't know how you're going to do it. Pin something to it, duct tape, whatever. Get some counterweights back there so that it's actually pulling it back for you, so that you're pulling back down. You will feel 1,000 times better on your back, on your arms, everything, by counterbalancing that weight. Now, you could probably figure out how to like wrap a PVC pipe over it and put a couple 5-pound weights or something on the back. So you could do that. And then also for your rig in general, like the main one that you use that you're going to have, no matter what you do, when you're holding it with two hands in front of you, you're going to get tired. You're going to get fatigue on your back. Okay. So number one, if you can possibly sit down on like a rolling chair or a wheelchair or something like that, that will help you tremendously in making that camera movement. Number two, if you're ever going to make a camera movement, you need to do it on your breath out. Does that make sense?
So
I want you to breathe in, and then as you make your camera movement, you're going to breathe out and move your camera forward. You're going to breathe in, breathe out when you push your camera forward. The problem and why we shake and why we have problems with that stability is as we breathe in and out, there's no control over your arms. Put your arms out right now. Breathe in and breathe out and look at them. Like literally, look at your hands. Look at your hands. Like they're moving up and down. But now just breathe out only, and now do a quick move with your fists. Breathe out and move forward, and you will have complete stability. So you have to start to think about that type of stuff on when you do your camera moves, and you have to make sure that you have energy, man. Drink your water, eat your granola bars, like always be eating something. If you're like on 4 hours and you're like, I got the camera movements here, guys, and you haven't ate and you haven't slept or anything, you'll have a difficult time. So I do that all the time. You know, when I'm doing my little intros on my YouTube videos and stuff like that, I'm doing those slow camera moves and pan ins and stuff like that. I'm grabbing the camera, I'm holding it tight, and I'm breathing out like as I do those moves. Those are it's super. I hope it helps.
Well, your B-roll is smooth as hell, so yeah, it definitely helps. I appreciate it. I try. I still don't always get it there. You know, there's some editing techniques on being able to smooth that out. But if you're too choppy or things are too crazy, it doesn't matter how hard that AI works for you. You'll still screw up your framing. So, but just make sure that your camera moves have motivation. If you're panning to the right a little bit, maybe it's because that character just looked over in that direction versus the fact that you just wanted to showcase something on that side. At that point, static shots are not bad. Everybody thinks that a static shot
is like lower quality. It's not true, because if you're using it to truly move the story along and you only want to focus on that object or subject or whatever, then you can do so.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps you a little bit, bud.
Yeah, no, that helps a lot, man. That's great advice for real. And like, so dude, so retro gaming pandemic. I actually I visited those guys, Jared and Eric, in Columbus, Ohio, a couple of weeks ago and hung out with them. But I also did a game room tour. I filmed a game room tour with Jared.
Yeah.
And I filmed the game room tour on my shoulder rig. And dude, I had to, like, every 5 minutes, I had to pause and take a break because the weight was just not balanced properly, dude. So my shoulder was burning, man. It was just burning like hell, dude. Yeah. So that was rough. So yeah, I definitely need to figure out a way to balance the weight out a little bit better on that shoulder rig. But I'm also looking into a shoulder rig that's compatible with my cage rig as well. That same YouTuber has a video. So I might try to build that rig out too. But on that rig's very interesting because on that rig, he's got it set up to where the camera is actually up here on his shoulder, and he's holding it down here, and the monitor's on a bar where he can see the monitor, and he's also got a focus wheel down here where he can change the focus even though the camera is up here on his shoulder. So it's a very interesting setup because most of the weight is on his shoulder, so it's balanced a little bit better.
Yeah, that makes sense because he's basically using his body as the tripod.
Yeah.
At that point, right. You're gonna trust your shoulder down as your core more than you will your biceps for holding things straight. So that's a smart idea. It's a smart idea.
Yeah. So I might try to build that one. So another question for you, man.
Yeah.
In terms of coverage for a scene, so what I'm thinking. For my short film, because in every scene in my short film, there's really only going to be two characters, my protagonist and the vendor that he's interacting with. So I'm thinking for coverage, I'm thinking I get a shot of one character through the entire scene, a shot of the protagonist through the entire scene, and then maybe a shot of both of them in the same frame together. So what do you think about that, or is there anything else I need to think about in terms of coverage?
So it depends on what you're trying to do with your character. Are you focusing more on the emotion of that character as the other person's talking, or are you focusing on the dialogue that person is saying? So that will determine on how you want to do it, but always shoot your master scene first.
Okay.
Always shoot, like literally come back, grab the entire scene and have them act it out the way it's supposed to. Okay. That way you can kind of help with the blocking a little bit first. Yeah. But once you have your master established, which is both of them talking, they do the whole scene, then I would actually have two cameras set up, both over the shoulder of each person crossing. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
I would do that so that you get one person's emotion and the other person's dialogue that you can actually cut back and forth on it. And then don't forget that you also have one more character in the scene, and that is your setting. And that depends on what you're doing with it, right? So if there's something that character is going to find later, then maybe it's time to put in a little seed, right? So in the background, you see the golden gem he's actually talking about has been behind him the entire time. Like those types of things are things to really think about on that side of things. But yeah, if you're going to do dialogue that way, make sure you shoot a master scene first. Then you do your A scene and your B scene. Shoot them at the same time, is my personal opinion, unless you have a problem with lighting. So let's say you only have one light. You have to shoot one side, with your key and your fill, and so then I understand. Then you really can't because you don't have enough equipment to do it. But if you could do it at the same time, it's going to help you, and it's going to be consistent too. So
that's true.
Yep.
Cool.
Oh yes, sir.
That helps a lot, man. That helps a lot. Yeah, I'm excited. It's one of those things where, like, I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm scared because it's my first time. You know what I mean? That sounds a lot like sex. You know what I mean? Like the first time you have sex, you're excited, but you're also a little scared and nervous at the same time because you're like, well,
why are you shaking so much?
What if I don't perform well? What if I don't last too long? Where is this conversation?
I can't hold this up for this long. I got one more thing for you while you're working on your film.
Okay.
Keep your crew happy.
Yeah.
So I know you're going no budget. If you're going to do any budget, have it be on food, have it be on water, and have it be on some types of chairs or something for the crew to be comfortable. Because if your actor's already like, there's no food, they're tired, there's no restroom facilities, there's nothing for them. The quickest way to make a set be difficult is when these people are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I would say if you make your crew happy, dude, you'll have a much better production for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's definitely something that I've been thinking about. Like I was thinking, you know, I would get some pizza and have some pizza on set for if people get hungry. Have like a cooler full of waters and different drinks if people get thirsty. So yeah, definitely something that I've got in the back of my mind. I definitely want to make sure that everybody on set is happy and healthy and full of energy and ready to perform to the best of their ability for sure.
Yeah. Retro Rivals was talking about warp stabilizer. It's an effect on Premiere that you can use. It's actually really good when you just have to. Oh, dude, there's a baby. Look at him.
Oh, it's a baby. There's a baby.
Hi, Remy. Hi, Remy.
What is going on right now?
What are you doing? Hey, Dad's
that's
doing a
awesome.
podcast. You coming to help me? Yeah, Mom left. Mom must have left. Went to the liquor store. No, I'm just kidding. So warp stabilizer. It's actually a really cool effect, and it works really well on certain scenes. But sometimes it like overcorrects stuff too. Sometimes it'll freak your scene out, or it'll start to overcorrect the framing that it does on it. So if you can stabilize in it, it's totally worth it.
Yeah. So that's that's another thing that we're kind of thinking about, me and my nephew, because we're gonna edit it together whenever it comes to time to edit. But so like for YouTube, we're using Cyberlink Power Director for editing YouTube videos.
Okay.
But I'm not quite sure if I should use that for editing a short film or not. But then at the same time, if we do use a different editing software, we're gonna have to learn, you know, a new editing software. So like as an example, Billy from the Game Chesters, he's actually using Wolfellow, help me out. Help me out here, Wolfellow. I can't remember the editing.
There's Final Cut, Vegas,
or
Adobe Premiere.
No, I can't remember the name of it, dude. I'm hoping Wolfellow will throw it in chat.
Is he using Avid?
It's DaVinci Resolve. He's using DaVinci Resolve.
Oh, DaVinci. Yep, I've heard a couple of people talk about DaVinci Resolve. That it's actually kind of a nice system.
Yeah. Now our problem with Adobe Premiere, we used to use Adobe Premiere, but our problem with that is it freaking crashes all the time, dude. I don't know if
you had crashes. No.
Yeah. Now it could be. It could very well be because when my nephew was using Adobe Premiere, he was using it on a computer that has a mechanical hard drive. So that could be why it was crashing.
Okay,
and it was kind of an older computer. So I'm thinking that maybe if we use it on a computer with a solid state hard drive, a faster graphic or a better graphics card, I'm hoping more RAM. I'm hoping that it will do a little bit better because he knows how to use Adobe Premiere pretty well.
Yeah. So I used to have some Premiere issues back in the day, but so far I am editing on a solid state drive though. So that could be what it is. Like maybe it has communication error back and forth from the source.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Aside from that, I've had an okay time with Premiere, and I've used it exclusively now for a long time.
Yeah.
So
sweet. Yeah, I mean, we might give it a try. So I think when we edit it, I think I'm going to edit it on my wife's computer. She has a very powerful gaming desktop PC. It's got it has 16 gigs of RAM, an SSD, a really good graphics card. So I think we'll probably edit it on her PC. And sure. we might try Premiere and see how it goes. Maybe it will do better. But yeah, man. So I'm pretty excited to get started on it. Like I said, I've got it outlined. So banging out a rough draft of the script is going to be relatively easy. I should be able to get that done pretty quick, and then I'll just start refining it from there. Can you think of any other miscellaneous advice or tips for anything?
No, I mean, honestly, make sure that you prep for everything. Make sure you have extra batteries. Make sure you have gaff tape. Make sure you have things that, mainly, I know some of my issues has always been like, I need to stick this up. I need to hang this blanket. I need to, I need to hook this onto something. And I never had clamps and tape and, that type of stuff with me. So I've learned throughout the years, like my gear bag will always have clamps and tape and various things that I can hang stuff with. Maybe I want to hang a blanket because I'm trying to reduce echo in the room or, with sound issues. So yeah, I would make sure that you have like a little bundle of maybe, happens. And also can lights are huge. Just little cheap can lights for you making it. Oh, don't turn that up. 1 second, buddy. Oh, hi.
Look at that.
All right. Hi, buddy.
What's his name?
Hi, RetroWolf. His name's Remy, like Gambit from X-Men. Remy.
Nice. What's up, Remy?
Hi, Remy.
I know he can't hear me,
hi.
but...
Do you want to say hi? Yeah, say hi. You want to say hi? There you go.
So that's your boy right there?
You made being a YouTuber harder. That's for sure. Right?
He's like, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't care. But he it's funny, so my wife had she has the podcast going in the other room, and he's watching me, and he's like trying to talk to me that way.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. Yeah, hi.
That's funny.
He's trying to say hi. Yeah,
hey.
Yeah. See, look, he says hi. Yeah, there you go. Goober. But yeah, man, I honestly, that's what I've used. It's been something that I've always kept with me, and it's helped me out, especially when I just get into a pickle, right? Like you're out there in the field and you're trying to organize something. You're trying to hang something. You're trying to piece something together for whatever reason. A light stand falls down, like you can tape it real quick. It's just things like that tend to happen a lot. So I would recommend that too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Speaking of lighting, do you have any like lighting specific tips?
Oh,
I mean, I know
yeah.
Like I've got to, like I'm pretty well versed in 3-point lighting. So yeah, do you have any like lighting tips?
Yeah, so it depends on what you're trying to do, but always remember, like, diffusion is your best friend.
Yeah.
So if you're reflecting off of something, if you've got like a see-through sheet or something like that, it's always going to be your best friend in lighting a scene. Rarely do we want to light a scene with harsh light unless you're trying to make the scene be directly that, right? You light a scene with harsh light when you're like interrogating the bad guy in a room with like a single swinging light, those things are harsh light. But other than that, everything else that we're going to try to do is going to be probably more of a soft light. I'm assuming so. Depends on what scene you're trying to go with, but I doubt you're trying to have like a stark contrast black and white scene. So
right.
I had to do that on the film noir, right? We had to work on that type of lighting because of the era that it's in. But with yours, since it's going to be more of a comedy, right? Like on that. So I would
it's going to be a blend of comedy and drama. I mean, it's probably going to be a leaning little bit more towards comedy, yeah, I would say.
Right. So a dramedy.
Yeah, dramedy.
Yeah. So when you do a dramedy, those types of things, most likely you're just going to have not flat lighting, but you definitely want to make sure you're differentiating your foreground from your background. So in that case, right, it depends. Like if you're going to go for a certain mood, you can do gels and stuff like that always in your background that are blue, while your characters are all more orange, or vice versa. That way it always feels like your foreground is standing out from your background. So those are all options, right? It's a reason why we do the lighting that we do sometimes on the YouTube video stuff. Like I'll gel these back ones and then I'll light me with a lot more bright white light versus kind of a on the background. And you'll notice a lot of YouTubers will do that, right? They'll have some type of LED lighting in their background because it's actually giving you a really good differentiation from your background and foreground. But you just, I mean, honestly, when you go out there, you'll just have to play with the scene. Like if you get a chance to do it like a day before where you're gonna set up, that's important. Because if you have windows and you've got sun coming through them, that sucks too. Yeah. So that's like my biggest pet peeve, man. You go out to a scene, you're ready to go, and all of a sudden the sun's shining just at a right spot that you get a glare or a lens flare or something of issue that way too. So Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Sorry, the whole chat is distracted by the baby
Yeah.
here, dude. Just like
The baby.
he's got a, yeah, he's finding stuff back there.
Yeah.
Used condoms come out of there.
The baby's
stuff.
he's more entertaining than we are, man. He's still in the show. He's still in the scene.
He knows, dude. What are the odds? He could be anywhere in this room, but he's in that one spot that I have open on the floor back there. That's so awesome. I'm sorry. He's totally taken over your podcast.
No, dude, it's cool. Hey, look, it's he is enhancing. He's enhancing the podcast.
Hey, there
you know what I mean?
He's enhancing.
Few quick shout outs in the chat, and then I got one more question in regards to filmography. Let's see. We got Danko Centaurius. Thank you for joining the stream. And my dude, Jorgogo. What is up, Jorgogo? Thank you for popping in the stream. And I got to give Jorgogo a shout out. Jorgogo has an awesome YouTube channel. He's very, very talented. He's a very talented artist.
Nice.
His videos are very funny. His editing is just so freaking good. Wolfello, do me a favor and throw Jorgogo's YouTube channel link in the chat if you don't mind, please, sir, if you're still in there. But yeah, everybody check out Jorgogo. He's an awesome dude. Great content.
Nice.
So Andy, my last question, my last piece of question for you as far as advice goes for this stuff. How do you determine what type of lens to use, or how to what's the word I'm looking for? Do you want to go with a 50 millimeter lens? Do you want to go with a really wide shot, or a more how do you determine how to kind of do your shot, or what kind of lens to choose?
So honestly, glass is only important if you're going to really deal with depth of field. So if for some reason you want a shallow depth of field, then you're going to have to make sure that you're not going with something like a crazy telephoto lens. It's not going to help you. Right. In getting that stuff set up. To be honest, to me, I feel like a nifty 50, an 80 millimeter, and maybe something like a 170 to 300, which is a pretty popular one. Those ones can kind of get you where you want to go. I know it depends on the stylization that you want to do. I know a lot of people that'll go grab attachments for like fisheye, or if you want to use some specific wide angle lens, but it's like, we're not James Cameron here, right? We're just telling a simple story. So if you're shooting on a full frame camera and you have a standard like 80 millimeter lens, you probably will be able to do most of your shots with that, to be honest. So it really depends on what you want to see.
So I have a 50 millimeter Sony lens that goes down to f1.8. And I've got the lens I'm using right now is a Sony G Master. It's 16 to 35 millimeters, and it goes down to f2.8. And I also have another lens that I haven't used in a while. I can't remember the range on it because I haven't used it in so long. So I've got 3 different lenses. I feel like between the 50 millimeter Sony lens and the G Master lens that's 16 to 35 millimeter, I feel like between those two, I can get the job done with what I want to shoot. But what you said, a 170 to 300? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So I don't even know what that looks like.
Nice. Oh, it's just that. So sometimes it comes in like a kit lens that you get. Sometimes you can use it like on a higher glass lens. Sigma lenses are a little bit more expensive on that stuff. But that's going to be if you need those long shots, like a cool shot of like somebody running at you that you can follow focus, like down the alleys or something like that, right? So let's say you're trying to shoot, I don't know, maybe we're looking at like a 300-foot distance and we want them to start coming at us, but we want to keep that the entire time. That's when you would use lenses like that. But to be honest, standard storytelling, character dialogue, back and forth, just shooting a simple master scene in like a 10-foot span, your other lenses are going to work just fine. You're not going to find yourself difficult with that unless the story pertains to you showing more than you wanted to, right? So there's not a whole lot, right? Filmmaking, we've got a wide shot, you've got a mid shot, you've got like a medium to close up and a close up. Like that's really the 4 shots that we should be telling our story with for the most part. So honestly, I wouldn't even overcomplicate it. Like unless you really are trying to do something intense, or you need a lens that's really good at follow focus.
Yeah.
And other than that, I would just use what you got right now. I think it'd be perfect. Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that I need to practice, man, because I've gotten way too comfortable with autofocus because the Sony A7 III with the G Master lens, the autofocus is pretty damn good, man.
Yeah,
but but I realized that I really need to practice more with manual focusing and get good at that.
Well, you could do a lot of cool things because once you have a manual focus, then you get to set your focus point, and now you get to decide what object the audience sees.
Yeah.
So, right? I mean, and a lot of these lenses are getting really good at face detection, so they're good at seeing the eyes, nose, mouth, and then they know when they need to focus on that. But they're still not that great at focusing on foreign objects. And so I would say that that's where manual focus really gets into it. That's where you get those cool... Like you'll see, I'll set my manual focus and then I'll pull my camera back. So none of this is actually used in the zoom. This is all used in like manual polling of the camera. But that's where I'll get like this really, really shallow depth of field for me to focus on something like the pins of a NES cart or something like that. So that's important. So I think that a lot of people don't use that manual focus as much as they should because it's also scary. Because if you screw up, and you're totally out of focus, you're frustrated, right?
Yeah.
Like, that ruins things. But yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, dude, that was all great advice, man. I really appreciate that. That helps a lot.
No doubt, dude. I'm going to talk filmmaking very often with people.
Yeah,
so that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, man. And I definitely, when I finish the script, I definitely want to send it to you, just get some feedback on it, see what you think.
I'd love to. I feel like I haven't read a good script in a long time. It's about time.
Yeah, and dude, by all means, when you read it, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I want you to be as completely honest like as possible, dude. You know what I mean? So like,
this is garbage.
Yeah, dude, hey, funny story, man. At my work, there was like the first position I was in at the company, my manager she was a older lady, like in her 50s, and she was a firecracker, man. Like she was really spunky and she was very intimidating. She was not afraid to speak her mind at all. And I was working on my resume because I wanted to apply for a different position. And so I was trying to refine my resume and make it better. So like I sent her an email and I was like, hey, I was wondering if you'd take a look at my resume and give me some feedback. And she's like, sure, bring it by my office. Well, I emailed it to her. I came by her office. She tells me to come in. I walk in. Dude, she had my resume printed out. She picks it up. She slams it down on her desk. And she says, this is garbage. And then she says, fix it. And then she proceeds to tell me everything that's wrong with it, dude. Like, she was brutal.
What?
She was brutal, man.
Most people wouldn't come back from that. That's
yeah. I mean, I took her advice, and I everything she said that I needed to fix, I fixed it, and I think I ended up getting a new position after that. So, I mean, she wasn't wrong.
Wow. No, that's one way to like have, I guess, constructive criticism, but
yeah,
that's still pretty
dude,
nuts.
She literally slammed it down on her desk. Like, it made me jump. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, she was interesting.
You must have got her go good.
Yeah, with that. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I promised I would tell the story about the time that my best friend pissed on my head. Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah. Let me get the popcorn for this one.
Okay. So this was my best friend in elementary school and a little bit into middle school, right? So I was young. You know what I mean? And me and him went to a playground at a church that was just like 5 minutes away from his house. We would go to this playground, just fuck around, you know what I mean? Just do whatever, And you've seen those tube slides, right? At playgrounds where you slide, it's like a big tube and you slide down the tube.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm laying at the bottom of this tube slide, just chilling out, just resting for a minute. And he's at the top of the tube slide. And he's like, hey man, I'm about to piss down this slide. And I'm laying there and I'm like, whatever, man, you're not going to piss down the slide. He's like, dude, I'm serious. I'm about to take a piss down this slide, you need to move. And I'm like, nah, you're not going to do that. And then the next thing I know, I feel a warm liquid hitting my head,
Oh, no.
So yeah, he pissed on my head down the slide, dude. As soon as I felt the warm piss hit my head, I jumped up and I ran full blast back to his house. I just bolted back to his house, screaming the whole time. I go in his house. I go to the kitchen sink. I turn the water on hot. I grab dish soap and I'm just scrubbing my hair with dish soap and hot water, dude. Just scrubbing the shit out of my hair, man. So yeah, I've been pissed on before.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yep.
Most people just joke about it. Not Matt. It's real life.
It's real. It's real life. And let me tell you something, people.
That sucks.
You haven't had an experience until you've been pissed on.
You've been pissed on. Put it on a t-shirt.
So I've been both pissed off at various times in my life and pissed on at one time in my life.
And pissed on. That's so true. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
man.
Awesome.
So that was.
So I have a question for you, and this is back to kind of gaming related or collecting related.
Okay,
stuff,
let's
right?
hear it.
So you and I, we both had this conversation when we were at Siege that we're like, we're toning down, right? We're like, we're reeling back and like refocusing our collection. So
yes,
what does that look like to you right now? Is there like something specific that you're like, I went too far, or I've realized like this isn't the direction I want to go with the collection? Like, where are you at with that right now?
Yeah, so for me, it's like I started looking at my collection. Like, let's take my NES collection, for example. I had over 400 games in my NES collection, which is that's a big size NES collection,
Yeah, it's good.
But the thing about it is, I was literally just collecting every NES game I could find and throwing it in the collection. And I came to the realization that probably 50% or more of these NES games are games that I will never play. You know what I mean? They're games that I don't care about. Yeah. And at that point, I had an epiphany. I was like, you know what? At least for the time being, I want to change the way I collect, and I just want to collect games that I'm actually interested in, games that I would actually play, except for the GameCube. Obviously, the GameCube's different. I have a complete GameCube collection. I'm trying to do a video on every GameCube game, so I actually am playing all the GameCube games. So that's a little bit different. But everything else
serves a purpose.
Yeah, it serves a purpose, exactly. And plus I do a lot of GameCube videos. Like every other video I do is a GameCube video. So but yeah, no, everything else, man, I was just like, man, I don't want to collect just to collect. Now don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. That serves a purpose. There definitely needs to be people out there that collect everything because they're preserving video game history. But as of right now, I don't want to be that guy. As of right now, I want to just collect things that are meaningful to me or that I would actually play. Now, on down the road in the future, when I get more room, if I have more disposable income, as I find more consoles that I want to explore the library of, like let's say the PlayStation 2, for example, one day I may be like, you know what, I'm just going to start collecting a shitload of PS2 games because I want to explore the library. At that point, I might change the way I collect. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I know I kind of got into the same position where I was looking around. And so here's a crazy exercise. So I was a little lost on my collection journey. Like I was like, I feel like I had gotten a lot of the stuff that I was initially maybe missed out on and things I enjoy. And then I realized like how much like filler I had, but I would come in here and I would try to pare down the collection. I would try to pull things out that didn't necessarily matter to me. And I always convinced myself otherwise. I always convinced myself that I need this thing because maybe one day, weeks from now, I might play it. So, oh, dude, we've got somebody to take the baby away. Bye. That's awesome. Little midgets carrying each other away. So my wife came in. She goes, "Let me help you." And I said, "Cool." She's like, "I don't want you to look at your collection at all. You can't look at your collection. I just want you to tell me right now, what games do you want? Like, what games can you even tell me that you own right now that you want to keep?" That is the hardest effing exercise I've ever done in my entire life, dude. Like she goes, okay, tell me what games out of your PS2 you love so much you want to keep. Don't look at your collection app. Don't look at anything else. She's like, anything that you do not tell me, I am pulling and you're going to sell it.
Oh,
and
shit.
I was like, no, don't do this. Don't do this to me. So I did. I sat here on this couch while she grabbed the whole thing. She laid them all out and she goes, tell me which ones I'm grabbing and I'm putting back on the shelf. And you have to do it all from memory. Wow. Like that literally, if you were going to pare down the games you truly love, that is the best way to do it. And it's not easy for people that can't let go of stuff. Like, that is absolutely nuts. So like the PS2 stuff, dude, used to be, right now it's 1, 2, a little bit back here. It used to go down like 5 shelves.
Wow.
So I got rid of, a couple hundred PS2 games out of doing that. And I don't regret it. I don't regret it because now my collection is truly curated to me and to where my memory goes for games that I love and I've wanted. So now there was a couple times I'd be like, wait. I know there's stuff I totally love right now. You have to let me look for a second because I know I'm going to say, I'm just going to forget something on the off whim. But yeah, overall, man, I dropped my collection down from 4,000 games to 2,500 games.
Wow. Woo.
Yeah.
That's a lot, dude.
Yeah. And and what's crazy. So I haven't done it yet. And this is part of the PacManCase comeback, but I told Retro Rivals about this. I shot a music, or I created a song, and I'm going to shoot a music video about it.
Oh, nice.
About having 4,000 games and like not really realizing how you got there. Like, how did I get myself down this crazy hole? So anyway, I got a music video that I'm working on, and I hope to drop that here probably sometime this winter when I can get it done.
Dude, that sounds like it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. It'll be a blast.
Yeah. So, all right. So let me tell you, I'm doing something crazy with my collection, man.
Yeah.
So, all right. I want to pay my truck off. Okay. I want to not have a car payment.
Sure.
So I'm actually selling, like, no joke, dude. I'm selling probably 80% of my collection to hopefully.
Hey, sorry.
Oh, did it cut out?
It cut off, Matt. Yeah. You're selling what? How many?
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, sweet. So I'm selling probably like 80% of my game collection to try to pay my truck off. So that's what I'm working on right now. So here's what I'm doing. So I'm going through each console. First of all, I'm not touching the Switch collection. Well, I might sell a few games out of there, but I'm not really touching the Switch collection.
Sure.
I'm not touching the GameCube collection. I'm not touching the PS4 collection. I'm leaving those alone.
Got it.
Everything else, I'm keeping a very small subset of games, and I'm selling the rest. And my plan is, once I pay my truck off, or at least, sell through what I'm going to sell in my collection and get close to paying my truck off, I'm going to recollect everything. So I'm going to restart my collecting journey, essentially, and I'm going to try to recollect everything, but I'm going to do it smarter this time. I'm going to do it smarter. I'm going to do it differently. And I'm going to turn it into a video series, something like rebuilding my game collection, and turn it into a whole.
The same thing that Steve just did.
Yeah, kind of like what Steve is doing. Yeah. Steve, So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. It's going to take some time, obviously, to sell through a lot of my collection. Because look, I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm not giving the stuff away. This is shit from my own personal collection. A lot of this stuff I've got a lot of money in, so obviously I'm going to try to sell it. I'm not going for like eBay prices, you know what I mean? But at the same time,
you're not looking to lose out on it either.
Yeah. So, I'm cutting deals and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And a lot of people don't know that. It hurts to sell some of this stuff. It's like, while I'm selling, I'm like, man, I don't really want to sell this, but then after I sell it, it's like, it's done. It's, whatever. It's gone now.
Well, I think that's just it. It's so hard for us to. It's emotional, right? It's an emotional decision because this is stuff that we opened up on Christmas Day underneath the tree, or this is something that a friend gave you 20 years ago that passed away, or so crazy things happen to some of your collection. And so I'm with you, man. Like it's been a journey. Kind of just picking that stuff is hard enough than to just let it go. So my God, it's nuts.
It's tough, man. It really is.
It's my fault he started collecting in the first place.
Yeah. So the reason that I popped this comment up, so my nephew, Wolfellow, so he's not lying. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have. Number one, I wouldn't have started collecting, which in turn would not have led to the YouTube channel, which in turn would not have led to the filmmaking stuff. So I actually have my nephew to thank for all of this, because basically what happened is one day, this was back in 2016, okay? Back in early 2016, I was like, you know what? I want to get a GameCube. I want to try to get the GameCube games that I had when I was a kid and relive some of that.
Yeah.
So, and I told him that, and he was like, oh, hey, man, I have a GameCube. I'll give it to you. And I'm like, really? Cool. So he gave me this GameCube, and that was it. It was over from there. He gave me that GameCube. Nice. I went to my local retro game store. I bought every GameCube game they had that I had when I was a kid. And then after that, I was like, I kind of want to get the NES games that I had when I was a kid. So at first, it started off as me just wanting to get what I had when I was a kid. And then it just exploded from there. And then eventually,
blew up.
Yeah, it blew up. And then eventually, I look at this game collection. I'm like, I've always wanted to do YouTube. I have this giant GameCube this giant game collection. Why don't I start a gaming YouTube channel? And my nephew knows how to edit videos. Why don't me and him work together to start a YouTube channel? And the rest is history from there. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I've got him to thank for everything. If he hadn't have gave me that GameCube, then me and you might not be talking right now.
I know, dude. Honestly, I was talking to Retro Rivals about this recently. That like the community in general of who we've met and what we've made is so much more important, almost than the games that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, so like 100%.
From a community standpoint, that like has this everlasting friendships that like you wouldn't have gotten without going down these rabbit holes that we're already going down right now. And it's awesome, man. It's I wouldn't trade it for anything. I wouldn't trade it for anything. So and YouTube is a crazy world, man. So it's very dog eat dog out here. There's not a whole lot of opportunity for you. You know, some people jump up to the upper echelon, you bust your ass and you never move that number at all. But one thing that you get out of it is this intense community that does not happen in many other platforms, to be honest. So with that happening, it really gets you back to like community over competition. You want to grow the YouTube channel, but when you realize what you got out of just having it in the first place, nothing else really should matter. And it's hard for some people to get there. I know it's hard. These analytics eat at our soul sometimes, right? Like
yeah, for sure.
Where we're at and like, oh man, I should be growing. Why did that video not blow up? Like, I don't understand. I feel like I'm connecting with people here. And then other times stuff you hit it and it just flops. You don't know why. No one saw it. What's going on? But at the end of the day, dude, you've got these like 50 people that always comment on your stuff, always check out your stuff, give you a good, they hit you up on the side, see how you're doing. And that community is going to outlast this YouTube platform for us, which is awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, dude, you absolutely nailed it, man. I've said it's time and time again that in my opinion, the best thing that has come out of YouTube for me personally, and it sounds like you're on the same boat, is all the awesome people that you get to meet and interact with and talk to and become friends with. Case in point, Retro Gaming Pandemic. Like I said, man, a couple of weeks ago, I went to Columbus, Ohio, and I hung out with those guys. Me and Wolfellow both went to Columbus, Ohio. We hung out with those guys. We did a game room tour. They took us around the town. We, ate with them, went to barcades, and just had a great time, dude. And now those two guys are really good friends. I talk to them literally every single day. So yeah, man, you're right. I mean, that is the best part about it. And I feel like most of us in this community, and yeah, like you said, of course we all want to grow our channels. We all want our numbers to go up. We all want to make the YouTube channel a success. But at the same time, at least in my experience, I feel like most of us in the community, we don't look at each other as competition. We try to help each other. We try to build each other up. We try to share our audiences with each other. And that's the way it should be. Yeah. Because a lot of people.
No doubt.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, a lot of people that watch your channel probably watch my channel. A lot of people that watch my channel probably watch your channel. So we're able to share our audiences with each other, and just help each other out. And granted, there are going to be some people in the community that do look at other YouTubers as competition. And I mean, you know, there is a such thing as being competitive in a healthy way. But then there's also
sure, making each other better and
yeah. But I would imagine there's probably some people in the community that get envious of other people's success. I can honestly say that I've never felt that way whenever I see somebody else's success. I'm like, cool, man. I'm glad they're successful. Hopefully I'll get there eventually. I'm just going to keep grinding it out and see what happens. So yeah, YouTube is an interesting thing, man. It really is, because it's like the algorithm is the beast that you have to conquer at the end of the day. And that algorithm is a bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, it's a bitch.
Yeah.
It's a bitch. I think it's really easy. It's really easy for every single thing you do for you to just try to watch your numbers during the day. And it's like, I honestly, it eats your soul, dude. Every single person that I know that's been successful on YouTube has said, I don't care about the numbers anymore. I just make content.
Yeah.
And then I naturally just grow.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And I think it is hard to like truly rip that Band-Aid off and say, okay, I'm not looking at my numbers anymore. I'm posting videos and I'm just going to shoot the shit with my community and have a good time. But yeah, man, at first, when you first get in, you don't have anything else to gauge. Right. So you just think like, if I haven't gotten so many views, or, you know, people aren't watching my stuff for that long. So I definitely have. Not only has my collection changed from my thought process, channel has changed from its focus point too, where I was like, I want to grow. And now it's like, no, man, I want to build community. I want to build engagement. Like that's a different story altogether. So
yeah, for sure. And let me ask you if you've had this experience, Andy. So my experience with my own channel is that my channel is pretty much completely different than it was when I first started it. It's like continuously evolving as I go along. Like just recently, back in May, me and my nephew, we decided to refresh the channel. We changed the way we did everything. And after we did that, we dropped down to 1 video per week. We increased the production values. We changed up the way we were doing things. And after we did that, all of our numbers went up, we noticed. But I say that to like, it seems like when you start YouTube, you start out doing something, but then it starts to evolve as you get more experience, and as you learn more, your channel starts to evolve, and it may change into something completely different than what it was in the beginning. I don't know if that's been your experience as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny. I think YouTube doesn't want you to quit, to be honest. You know, the more content that you can create for them, the more they have people want to join their platform. And this is something that happened to me just recently. So it's probably been, I think it's close to 4 weeks since I've put out a video. And I did that to give myself a little mental break. But what's crazy, YouTube started pushing my content.
Really?
Legit. Yes. So I stopped creating videos. Basically, I was like, in YouTube's eyes, I was like, see you, YouTube, I'm out of here. And they're like, whoa. We have a creator that is abandoned ship. What do we do? And like, they literally, like, they started pushing. I probably had like 7 or 8 videos. All of a sudden I gained like 500 views within like a week's time. And I didn't know why. I didn't know all this. And then I started to look at the analytics and I was like, wait a minute. It just randomly pushed stuff from the algorithm when I took a break. So it was like, it really like hit me for a second. And I'm like, dude, this is a business. Like for them, it's a business. And like, if you have a content creator that drops out, we're going to do what we can to get them back. And so you start to realize a little bit more that algorithm really does like watch everything that you do as a content. That whole thing is what's changed for me. Is when I first started, I didn't know anything about how to manipulate that system. Like I didn't know what and how to reach for things and where I was on it. And the community came as side of it, but really learning that side of things has probably been the biggest struggle for me from YouTube. And stretching that out away from being my focus point and has been so much more liberating, which has been hard. I mean, it's hard. I'm not going to lie. Most people that join YouTube are like, I'm going to be a big star. I'm going to blow up. Everything's going to go good.
Yeah.
And then they do their first like 7 videos and they get 7 views and they're like, F this. This doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that that's been a huge focus of mine, is to kind of change that mentality. And I find it silly that I took a break and then growth happened. Like, what a weird platform, dude. Like, it doesn't make any sense. What the F?
Yeah, it is crazy, man. And like, it definitely, it is important to learn more about the algorithm. And I started reading a book that Mr. Rightway recommended called The YouTube Formula. And there's a chapter in the book where, because this guy knows the algorithm, the guy that wrote this book, he knows the algorithm like the back of his hand. He knows a lot of deep stuff about the algorithm. And there was a chapter where he talked about a lot of different things involving the algorithm. And that algorithm literally does measure everything you do. Like, it stores so much data that you don't know about on your YouTube channel. Things that you wouldn't even think that it would be capturing data. It literally captures every word you say in your video and stores that and uses that in the analytics. It's crazy.
That's insane, dude. That's insane.
Yeah.
If you say retro video games enough time in your videos, but you never title it, it will categorize it in retro video games.
Yeah, it does stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. So it's definitely something to think about. So I've got Retro Gaming Pandemic on the screen here. YouTube has been the best decision we made. 2 weeks into it, and we've met so many great people. And then they go on to say, we said going into this, number one goal was to meet people and make friendships. And I mean, that's that's really is one of the best parts about it, especially when you get a chance to go to conventions and meet a lot of your fellow YouTubers in person and get a chance to hang out with them. And I find that 90% or more of the time, they're even cooler in person than they are, on the screen.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
No doubt, dude. And honestly, I forgot I was even a YouTuber when I was at Siege. I was just having a good time. And that's like the best part. That's the best part of it all. Absolutely.
Yeah. And something else that really made me feel good is when you meet people that are big YouTubers like John Riggs, for example. And he's just such a nice guy, so chill, so down to earth, very friendly with everybody, willing to talk to anybody. He doesn't act like he's a big YouTuber, even though I think he's got over 100,000 subscribers now, right?
Yeah, dude, he hit 100,000 a couple months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't, you can tell that he hasn't let YouTube get to his head. And we know that happens. We know there's some YouTubers that get big and it gets to their head, their egos blow up, and it changes the way that they act. But when you meet people like John Riggs, and even when I met Billy and Jay from the Game Chasers, dude, they were just the coolest guys, man. Exactly how they act on the Game Chasers, that's them in real life. They were super friendly, super friendly to me, super nice. So it really makes me feel good whenever I meet bigger YouTubers like that and see that they haven't let it get to their head. They haven't let it change them as a person. And that's one thing that I always told myself. If my YouTube channel ever blows up like that, I'm never going to let it change me in any kind of negative way like that. That's, that's something that, and I'm sure you wouldn't either. And I'm sure most of the people that we talk to wouldn't. So, because, you always think in the back of your head, this person is a really big YouTuber. Are they actually going to talk to me? You know what I mean? Are they actually going to interact with me? So I mean, that's one thing that I really took away from Siege, is that a lot of these big YouTubers, they're just like me and you, and they don't let it get to their heads. And so I thought that was pretty cool.
I think people forget that they're people.
Yeah,
like they're just dudes or ladies, like with a camera on them, and they just create content the same way that we do. I mean, maybe they do it better. So I mean, to be honest, like that's got to be something that you self-reflect on in general for growth. But yeah, man, I don't know if I told you the story. I think I did, but John Riggs was my first sub.
Oh, really?
So,
Oh, wow.
When I first started, I was in a gamer group with the people here in Washington, and John Riggs lives here in Washington. And we were chatting, and I was just like, guys, I wonder if I should start a YouTube channel. And Riggs like jumped into the comments. He says, do it. I'll be your first sub.
Nice.
And I was like, no, like whatever. And so I did it, and he legit, dude, he was my first sub. And like
That's
ever
awesome.
since then has still jumped on and said, hey, how are things going? Like, good luck on the YouTube channel. And do the same thing. I met Radical Reggie, and we've hung out, dude. We go have lunch sometimes. Like,
oh, nice.
We shoot the shit like about life, but you quickly realize, dude, these are all just dudes, man.
Yeah.
They're just people.
Yeah.
And you know, they've done this game longer than we have. And they've got a lot to offer when it comes to understanding where they're at. But so far, I've had some pretty good experiences with most people. I do dread the day that I have to meet somebody that is an asshole, but we'll have to find out when that happens.
Yeah, I'm not gonna throw out a name, but there was one really big YouTuber that I met that I did not have a positive interaction with at all. I'm not gonna say the name. I'm not even gonna give a hint as to who it was.
Sure, yeah.
But that was the one big YouTuber I met where I was like, yeah, you know what, this guy, probably not gonna support his channel anymore because he's not.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, this guy's a dick.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it was that kind of thing. But it's only happened once. So
yeah, sure. Absolutely. Well, and you know, I mean, to be honest, some of these people, it happens with celebrities too, man. So, and I know when you're YouTube famous, I was on the Super Mega Retro Dudes. Did you do their podcast?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we were just talking about what it means to be YouTube famous, dude. It doesn't mean shit. Like, no offense to John Riggs. I love the guy.
Yeah.
But no one outside of the retro gaming community knows who the F he is. Like,
that's true.
Go to the grocery store right now and be like, dude, did you watch the newest John Riggs video? They would look at you and be like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, just scan your cereal and get out of here, sir. Like, that's just it, dude. It's funny. Like, the community's even smaller than we think it is. Like, the retro community is a super small niche on what YouTube is in general. Like, cooking shows and fashion and toys, toy channels for kids and stuff. That's so much bigger than what we do all the time. So I think you kind of have to look at it as perspective. It's like, you've probably seen the graphics where it like shows Earth next to Saturn, next to Jupiter, next to the sun, next to the bigger thing, next to the galaxies, right? And it's like, if you and I are like the moon, then John Riggs is Earth, and then you've got all these other things that are larger than him. Yeah. And we put everybody on a pedestal, and it's like, but they're just people. They're just people at the end of the day. So I think if you can kind of like, if you can clear that out of your head, things are a lot better. Things are like, you can kind of rationalize it in your head a little bit. So
for sure, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, but I feel you.
Yeah, you're right. You know, I've thought about that. Like, sometimes when I think about YouTube numbers and stuff like that, I think to myself, you know what? If I had a YouTube channel and something that wasn't such a small niche like retro games, I wonder if I could be a lot more successful. You know what I mean?
Oh, I guarantee it, dude. You and I should just do one where we're just like in a pool and we have a bunch of simps and we'll be good to go. Dude, Matt and Andy hot tub streams, man. Boom, on Twitch. Boom, dude, take it off right now.
Okay, this podcast is starting to get a little weird now. I'm not gonna lie.
I thought it would be really funny to do an Instagram where you literally just mimic the pictures, where you just mimic all the pictures of just like the sexy Instagrammers. So you basically put yourself in the same position. You know, I'm an Instagrammer about gaming, but everything is just my ass holding a controller next to it. But then it's me instead of like somebody super sexy. And I think that Instagram would blow up. I think it would do really well.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Just do like a calendar of it.
RetroWolf Cosmetic Reviews. Retro Gaming Pandemic says Matt and Andy do makeup tutorials. Man. Did we lose Andy? I think we lost Andy. All right, folks, let's give him a minute and see if he's able to pop back in. I guess his he's popping there. Oh, there he is. He's back.
It just told me, like warned me. It's like you're not directly connected. And I was like, I know I'm not. You shut your mouth.
But yeah, man, it's Retro Gaming Pandemic says Matt is so big on my screen. Oh, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about when you say I'm so big? What do you mean exactly? You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific there, buddy.
I love it.
Oh man. So Andy, and I hope the answer to this question is yes. It will make me very happy if the answer, even if the answer is if just maybe, it'll make me happy.
All right.
Are you going to be able to go to Midwest Gaming Classic in November in Milwaukee, Wisconsin?
I really want to go. So that's all I'm going to say. I really want to go. I'm trying to put all the puzzle pieces to make it happen because not only you, but every single other person that I know wants to go to that one. And so I'm like, okay, I got to make it happen because I have to chill with my brothers and sisters of YouTube and gaming. So I would love to make that happen. Normally November is a good time for me from a work standpoint. So we'll see. I would love to do it.
Dude, absolutely. I hope you can, man. Cause right now confirmed, I know I'm going to be there for sure. Gaming Off the Grid's going to be there. J Love's going to be there. Do You Nerd's going to be there. Nice. I think that's it that I know of. I know there's more people, but I can't think of them. So
okay.
And it's in Midwest. I've never been to Midwest Gaming Classic, but it's a 3-day convention. So that tells me it's probably a pretty big convention.
Where's it at again?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh, it is. Okay. Yep. Okay. So it's there. Yeah. And I would definitely, dude, if I can make it work, I'll be there. I will be there.
Well, dude, I hope you can, man. That would be awesome. And Retro Rival says, how close is this friendship? Well, I mean, look, we met in a urinal together. Well, not in the same urinal. We were in separate urinals, but we were still both holding our dicks while we were talking and meeting each other in side-by-side urinals. So that tells you how close this friendship is.
Never crossed the streams.
Never crossed the, we didn't cross the stream, so there's that. Ricardo, what is up, Ricardo? Thank you for popping in the stream. Ricardo's a good dude. He's a good supporter of the channel and always like to hear from him. And we also got Megalong69. I like that name, Megalong69.
Megalong.
He says, compare total amount of games you have. All right, so let's hear it, Andy. What's your total amount of games currently? And I'll tell you mine. We'll see.
I have my Game Eye. Hold on, let me pull it
up. Oh, dude, I'm using Game Eye too. I love that app, man.
Dude, it's such a badass app.
Okay,
I'm currently at 2,545 titles.
Okay.
That's where I'm at right now.
Okay, so before I started trimming my collection, I was at around 2,500. But now that I've trimmed a bunch of games out, I'm at 2,114.
Okay. And I was at like I was pretty close to 4,000. It was like 3,900 and some games, and realized, dude, I'm never gonna play these games. Yeah. What am I doing with my life? So now I feel like that's healthy. I probably could still eliminate though another 500 to 1,000, and I would be happy with the collection. So that's a hard one though. Like that's like now we're really getting into like games that I do enjoy that I still have to leave from the collection. So I feel you.
That's true. And earlier Retro Rivals and Retro Gaming Pandemic, they were commenting on my Switch collection back here.
Yeah, dude, so that's an epic collection, man.
Yeah, so I've got hold on, let me open up Game. I'll tell you how many Switch games. I've got 345 Switch games. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing about my Switch collection. I have 345 Switch games, but I would say 98% of those games are good games that I would play. Good to fantastic games. Like, there's no game in my Switch collection right now that I wouldn't sit down and play and have fun with. And that says a lot.
Snipper clips?
I do have snipper clips. Love snipper clips.
You'd play it right now? You'd play it right now?
Oh, dude, I would totally play snipper clips. I love snipper clips.
Okay, good. All right. Fair enough. You're good.
Yeah. No, that even though, okay, so when I did back in the day when snipper clips first came out, I played it with my wife. And that game will definitely make you scream at each other, just like Overcooked will. Have you ever played Overcooked?
Oh, yeah, dude. Overcooked 2. Me and my wife, we love that one, but she's screaming because she can't walk over a bridge. So she just falls the entire time. And I'm like, give me the goddamn meat patties.
Yeah.
We don't have time for this.
Yeah.
I need that lettuce chopped.
Yeah. Dude.
It's awesome. That's
dude.
such a great freaking game.
Oh, it really is. Dude, if you were around me and my wife while we played Overcooked together, you would think that we're fixing to physically abuse each other, dude. Like,
Wait, do you guys have Overcooked 2? Do you have Overcooked 2 right now on your Switch?
Yeah, we played through that too, yeah.
All right, we're exchanging friend codes, and let's play as couples, and we'll come in, and we're going to throw down on Overcooked 2, because that's a badass game.
Yeah, dude, I'm totally down for that, dude. Man, Overcooked, man, such a great concept, man. You know, it's so simple. It's awesome. It's a simple concept, but they managed to just pull so many good gameplay mechanics out of it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually played it at PAX for the first time. I had no idea what it was, and we threw down at like a 4-person in the free play section. And we're like, "What is this game?" And we played it, and we fell in love. We like, this is such an awesome game. And so since then, I've been a huge fan. Yeah, it's rad.
We got Gingerbeard, the gaming dad, Hartley. What's up, Pack and Wolf? Thank you for joining the stream, man. Glad to have you here. And Megalong69 says, sell your sealed games on Heritage auction for millions. What do you think about that?
Millions.
Dude, so Andy, seriously, dude, like, it's nonsense, man.
Okay, so I am not a tinfoil hat guy, but I swear to God, this is insider trading.
Oh, for sure, dude. For sure.
There's two dudes that have a lot of money, and they're either like they're doing two things. They're boosting the game market so they can sell more stuff later, or they truly are funneling the money back and forth for something other than gaming. So FYI, like that's what's happening. No game goes for $1 million. That's literally just a Super Mario Brothers sealed 64 game. Like that's it's like at this point it's gotten so ridiculous on these that it's become. I mean, I don't even know much about this stuff, but I already smell the bullshit from far away. So that's me though, dude. Some people are like, no, this is totally legit, and it's like you will never get $1 million. Promise you right now. Yeah. So this is some insider training. This is some Martha Stewart level insider bullshit, and someone is gonna go to jail.
Dude. I'm totally with you, man. I think there's some shady, there's some funny business going on. And there have been some people that have been digging into this, man. There's been some interesting things uncovered. There definitely more and more as time goes on, there definitely seems to be something shady going on. So it'll be interesting if all that comes out. You know what I mean? If somebody has a smoking gun and all that comes out, it's going to be interesting to see how that impacts the video game market. Yeah.
I guess I just, what it's done is I want to do a video on this, but there is this high-end collector game that people think is real, like out in the field right now, and it's not real. Like this is like a fabricated bullshit thing. There is like a certain area and level that games should get to. I understand Musha being worth, 500. Like I understand, complete in box copy, but like getting up to the 20,000, 40,000, like.
Did we lose Andy? I think we've lost Andy. All right. Well, so. How is everybody's evening doing while we wait on Andy to pop back in? Hope everybody's having... we got Gabriel. Thank you for joining the chat, Gabriel. Hello, guys. Nice to catch up in the stream live. Wonder if you can give us some tips on under-the-radar GameCube games that surprised you. Oh, Andy's back. Let's bring Andy back in. Welcome back, Andy.
Hey!
Welcome back, man.
So ridiculous. I'm sorry, buddy.
No, you're good.
A hotspot gets you.
What were you saying?
I was in the middle of my rant. But anyway, at this point, Mark Zuckerberg just canceled me because I can't say anything. So
right.
We're done. But yeah, man, I just don't believe that this inflation is legit. Like I think that it's pretty intense when you get to the millions of dollars. It's just that's crazy.
Yeah, for sure, man. So we got Gabriel here. Hello, guys. Nice to catch up in the stream live. Wonder if you can give me some tips. Oh, I think we're losing Andy again. Wonder if you can give me some tips on under-the-radar GameCube games that surprised you and probably won't be ported on the near future. Gabriel, for sure, man. Like, I would say check out Battalion Wars. That probably won't be ported. So I would recommend Battalion Wars. Sphinx in the Curse Mummy actually was ported to the Switch. Metal Arms, Glitch in the System, Freedom Fighters, Spartan Total Warrior. Now, if we're talking GameCube exclusives, I would say, let's see, I got to turn and look at my collection a little bit because I'm drawing a blank. Tales of Symphonia, if you're an RPG fan, that is a great, fantastic RPG. Killer 7, Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. I mean, there's a ton, dude. And if you're interested, Gabriel, I do have several videos on my channel for GameCube hidden gems and a lot of other GameCube videos where you can find games that may be under the radar. And I've got some more coming in the future, so definitely check those out. But Andy, do you have any under the radar GameCube games that you can recommend?
Dude, I'm looking right now. I mean, I guess it wouldn't necessarily be under the radar, but I feel like Lost Kingdoms isn't talked about very often. 1 and 2.
And the second one, yeah.
Yeah, both of those are good. And then, of course, dude, Soul Calibur 2,
yeah.
like where you
Playing
can play
as
as Link. Like, that was awesome. Yeah. You know, some of that stuff, a lot of people wouldn't know if they haven't jumped on the GameCube stuff before. So I think that's worth it.
Yeah, and there's also two exclusive RPGs on the GameCube besides Lost Kingdoms. There's Batten Kaitos and Batten Kaitos Origins. They're epic RPGs, and it's actually a card-based battle system. But it's I haven't played them personally, but I've always heard good things about those games. And fun fact, Lost Kingdoms 1 and 2, I don't know if you know this or not, Andy, but Lost Kingdoms 1 and 2 were developed by From Software, the developers of Dark Souls.
Yes. So. Yep, I have heard that.
Yep.
I don't really dive. You know, that's one thing that I'm pretty bad at, man. I don't actually dive into the developer side of things for games, and I feel bad because I should. Because the reason I love this stuff is because they made it in the first place.
Yeah,
I know there's been a lot of people. They'll jump and they'll just like know every single thing made from a developer, and I'm always pretty interested because I'm like, it's cool. It's cool to know where they came from and what they've made before. I didn't know that. Santa Monica that developed God of War. I just did a video on this. What was their first project? Kinetica.
Kinetica,
yeah, dude. Kinetica on PS2 was like their first go at it, and I was like, wait a minute, what? They made God of War, and like it blew my mind, right? That these studios and these developers have jumped back and forth from these various categories and stuff too. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And speaking of that, I am super, super excited for the next God of War game, dude. Because, dude, God of War, most recent one, in my opinion, is one of the best games ever made. I think that game is a fucking masterpiece.
I can't tell you right now another game that I think is better than God of War 4. I mean, it's called God of War, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Dude, Dan Bunch of Numbers is busting my balls here for my Net Zero. I'm so sorry, Dan Bunch of Numbers. It's not my fault. I need to move. And I need to get better internet because this is a joke. So thank you guys for sticking around through this crap. I'm so sorry. I appreciate your patience. Yeah, dude, the God of War Ragnarok, when that hits, that will be the reason I get a PS5. By the way, I don't think we talked about this. I don't have any new generation console. So I don't have a PS5 or an Xbox One right now.
Well, to be honest with you,
Series X.
To be honest with you, unless you want to play the new Ratchet and Clank game, you're really not missing much. There's not. I mean,
that's what I've heard.
There's just no exclusive. I think Ratchet and Clank is one of the few actual next-gen exclusive games. There's just not much right now. To be honest, they should have delayed the release of those consoles at least another year to give more time for more games to be ready and also to get through the pandemic a little bit better. I just think they jumped the gun on releasing them, man, personally. But
well, I think that this is also why I think that the Switch is not truly next generation Pro. So I think that they came to a position where they didn't have enough components due to the pandemic, and they were like, screw it, dude, we got to go to plan B. Like, we were supposed to have a Switch Pro come out. We don't have the right parts for it, so let's just make an OLED model and call it good.
Yep.
Honestly, that's why I think they didn't get the true half step that they should have done. So it's the same reason why the PS5 now has like changed its architecture already.
Yeah,
because they don't have the right components, right?
Yeah.
This is nuts.
Yeah, it's a mess. And then you got fucking scalpers. God, dude. I'm not even gonna get started on scalpers, because I will literally go on an angry, rage-fueled rant about scalping. I hate scalping.
Yeah.
I think it's the scummiest damn thing that you can possibly do in the video game market, in my opinion. I'm not even gonna go. We lost Andy again. Wow, Andy needs better internet, folks. He definitely needs better internet. I'm sure he'll pop back in. Actually, we're probably gonna start to close out the podcast. Let me wait till Andy pops back in, and we'll go ahead and start to close it out. So yeah, here he is. He's back. Maybe. Hey, there he is. So Andy.
Dude, okay, so wait, before I start, I have to tell you what's going on. So
okay.
So I've got two hotspots. I have a hotspot in my office and a hotspot up in my wife's office. She works off that one. I work off this one. And every now and again, due to data restrictions, I have to switch over to hers. So I just switched over to hers to see if it would be any better. So far, you look better. It seems better. But I'm just telling you, if it happens again, then I'll switch back to mine. But again, we've done this for 2 hours and 40 minutes. You're lucky you got me for that long, because the internet connection tends to shoot me in the face all the time. Yeah. But if I recommend anybody, if you go buy a house, your first freaking question needs to be like, do you have
internet?
Proper internet? Because I bought this house thinking this was the most beautiful house in the world. And when we looked around, we were like, wait a minute. Wait, you don't have any internet? There's no cable? Like, there's satellite internet, but that's even worse for us. And so we ended up, this is it. A hotspot is all I can do in 2021. What the F? So I'm so frustrated. I'm so frustrated. But you were talking about scalpers being the scum of the earth, dude. This has happened for everything. Like, literally, I feel like ever since Tickle Me Elmo hit, dude, it's been a nut show. Like, these people are absolutely insane, and the internet has not made it any better, because you can instantly throw it up there. You're like, grab what you want, and it's a nightmare. So I'm not happy about it either. I feel you.
Yeah. Maybe one day, Andy, we can do a whole show just ranting and going off about scalpers the whole time. That would be interesting.
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
and dude, actually, what drives me?
On the Real Awkward.
Oh yeah, you guys have an episode about that. I listened to that one.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we literally have a scalping episode, because we were livid during that same time too.
Yeah, that was a good episode, man. And one thing that really drives me crazy, dude, is the people that defend scalping. Oh, it's just capitalism. The people that defend that shit drives me nuts, dude. And yeah, man. Anyways, I'm not gonna get into it, because I'm telling you, if I get started, I won't stop. I feel you. So Andy, we've been going for 2 hours and 45 minutes, man. It doesn't feel like it's been 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's gone by so quick. But let's go ahead and start bringing it to a close. So Andy, if you could tell the audience what's coming up. What can you tell us about what's coming up on the PacManCase YouTube channel, and also the Real Awkward Podcast, and then remind everybody where they can find both of those things.
Yeah, so actually, the Real Awkward Podcast, dude, we're going to be hitting our 100th episode here soon.
Oh, wow.
We've actually been doing it for a couple years now, which is nice. So you guys have tons of content that you can go check out, all the way from our first episode all the way through our most current one. Again, Real Awkward, REEL go check it out. Again, it's a bunch of Blockbuster employees shooting the shit about gaming, media, and kind of the future of what we see, nerding it out. PacManCase, on the other hand, I am looking to do an overhaul on the channel. Now, not in the way that I, I'm not changing things drastically, but like this background, it's going, dude. Like the whole game wall, the shelves, the whole thing that's been popular for the last decade of retro gaming, that's going to go. And I literally am going to turn it into kind of a set piece that lets me display things a little bit better. I'm throwing all these games in drawers. As much as I think it's cool to look at it, I don't think it's as important for me to see it on the shelf than know I have it and I can play it. And then I can display things as I want to down the road. So, yeah, man, this is going to change. The background's going to change. I think maybe the style of some of the stuff for the YouTube channel will change. So I'm in pre-production right now on what I'd like to do going forward. But I definitely want to provide everybody with really good quality content. So that's my goal. And I appreciate anybody that wants to come over and say howdy on my channel, too. That means a lot.
Yeah, I mean, look, dude, you already provide very high quality content, so I'm very curious to see, where you take it from here. That's very exciting.
I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. And we'll follow through PacManCase's YouTube channel link in the chat again, but it is also in the description. So if you want to check that out, and you can find it easily just by typing in PacManCase on YouTube, it should pop right up. So be sure to check that out. Follow him on,
there.
and then you can find him on Twitter and Instagram. Any other social medias, or is it mainly Twitter and Instagram?
No, dude, I have not jumped on TikTok yet, but I'm assuming one day I will. So for right now, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, you can find me.
Yeah, dude, TikTok, there's a gold mine on TikTok, man. If you can figure out how to get into that. Yeah, real quick, we do have one more question for you from Megalong69. He wants to know, do you have any complete game collection for any system?
So right now, no complete collections. I've gone for subsets. The only one that I'm close on is my Nintendo 64 loose complete set, and I only have, I think it's right around 10 games left.
Oh, wow.
I'm really close to that one. Yeah, so I'm close to that one. You can kind of see it up there.
Oh,
that's
nice.
My 64 like almost complete collection. And then I'm almost done with my exclusive Xbox collection, which is actually something like 285 games, and I just picked up Steel Battalion, which has that giant controller.
Sweet.
Yeah. Right. So that one was like the biggest like money grab. But other than that, man, that my subsets are my GameCube exclusive, my Xbox exclusive, and then my Nintendo 64. I might go with a PS2 exclusive, but they're a lot harder because PS2 canceled so many titles. So we'll see down the road. We'll see down the road.
Well, listen, Andy, dude, thanks again for joining the show, man. It's been a lot of fun having you on here and talking about different things and talking about, filmmaking and YouTube and video games and us, meeting together in a urinal. It's been and
telling, no doubt, dude, no doubt.
Yeah, and telling you the story about the time my best friend pissed on my head. All that was a lot of fun, man. So yeah, dude, thank you for coming on, man. Everybody be sure and check out Andy PacManCase on YouTube. Check out the Real Awkward Podcast. I've been listening to it on Spotify. It's a great podcast, very entertaining. And the episodes are not very long either. It's like 45 to 50-ish minutes, somewhere around there. So it's a great length, and it goes by fast. You can listen to it while you're driving or if you're doing the dishes or whatever. So go give Andy some support. On the Real Awkward Podcast and then the PacManCase YouTube channel. His short films, some of his short films are on this YouTube channel as well if you want to check those out. And Andy, anything else you want to say before we end this thing, man?
No, that's it, Matt. Thanks for letting me have some time here on the podcast. I appreciate it. It's funny you've been doing this for so long, and I feel like we've been like in the same community for so long. I'm surprised it's taken this long to have a chit chat. So I'm glad we're doing it. So,
me too, dude. And it feels natural too. Yeah.
Hey,
All
I
right.
mean, it should. We've both seen each other's wangs. So
Well, hold on now. I didn't see anything. Now, I don't know what you saw, but I didn't see anything, okay? I am
I
not.
told your watch looked good for a reason, buddy.
Yeah, and you know, when you said that, I was wondering, how does he
I'm
know
just
I had a
kidding.
watch
Seriously,
on?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's been great, man. It's been great. And all right, well, everybody in the chat, thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for coming and listening to a couple of bozos like us. I really appreciate the support. It means a lot, and I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of the evening and a great weekend. Stay safe. It's crazy out there right now. There's all kinds of crazy shit going on, so stay safe, everybody. Play some video games, have some fun, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Later.
Later, dudes.